Hey, everyone! If you enjoy my quantum audiobooks, you can support me by becoming a Patreon member. Your support helps me keep creating, and you'll get exclusive perks. You can also access my audiobooks directly through Google Drive. Check out the link in the description. Now, let's get started.
So I actually transmigrated. On a quiet British street lined with pointed-roof houses, a young boy sat on a bench, staring blankly at the dull gray sky. Xuan still couldn't fully process it. Just yesterday, he had returned home after work, happily lying down to watch the latest Fantastic Beasts movie he had just unlocked. Everything felt normal until that moment. A thunderclap, then spherical lightning. He hadn't even noticed it at first. The volume on his phone was too loud, drowning out the faint, sizzling sound. It was only when he turned his head that he saw it, a dark purple sphere of lightning, crackling as it floated toward him. "Don't come here!" He had shouted, panicked, but it was useless. The half-human-sized lightning sphere closed in and fused with his body. The next moment, everything went black, and when he woke up, he was here. What a ridiculous way to transmigrate. Xuan let out a long sigh but quickly accepted it. As a veteran novel reader, something like this wasn't too hard to digest. If anything, wasn't it kind of exciting? He looked down at his smaller body, younger and far more refined than before. His appearance had clearly improved, sharp features, almost comparable to a celebrity, not bad at all. After sitting there for over 10 minutes, he had already turned away several kind-hearted strangers offering help. With his current looks, survival didn't seem like a problem. More importantly, he already knew what world this was. Privet drives little winging, and that boy being bullied nearby. Harry Potter, so watching Fantastic Beasts sends me into the wizarding world, Xuan muttered. Then what if I watched One Piece? Would I end up with Monkey D. Luffy? Or Pokemon with Ash Naruto? He couldn't help but laugh at the absurd logic. Still, compared to pirates or ninjas, the wizarding world was relatively safer, at least on the surface. But safety was temporary. Sooner or later, he would have to face that man, the noseless Dark Lord Voldemort. Thinking ahead, Xuan quickly calculated the timeline. First year, Quirrell and the Philosopher's Stone. Second year, the Basilisk. Third year, Sirius Black. Fourth year, the Triwizard Tournament. For at least the first few years, direct danger from Voldemort would be minimal. Even better. Today was July 31, 1990. A full year before Harry entered Hogwarts. That meant he had 5 whole years to grow stronger. 5 years. Xuan's eyes sharpened. If I can't become strong enough to deal with Voldemort in that time, then I'd be a disgrace to every transmigrator out there. After all, how could a transmigrator not have a cheat? A golden finger, and unlike those slow-start protagonists who wait years to awaken their powers, his would definitely activate immediately. No conditions, no nonsense, direct use. Now that's more like it. As for Xuan's golden finger, it wasn't something ordinary. While he had been sitting there in a daze earlier, a flood of information had already poured into his mind. Unlike most transmigrators who gain some kind of system, like a grand mage system or a law god system, Xuan's cheat was completely different. He possessed 2 treasures. More precisely, 2 innate spiritual treasures from ancient myths. And during his transmigration, the 2 had fused into one. That terrifying spherical lightning from before, it was nothing but the clash between these 2 treasures. Xuan lifted his right sleeve. At first there was nothing, but with a single thought, a faint pattern slowly appeared on his skin like a tattoo, a 5-story pagoda, and above it a glowing bead. These were his treasures. But this mark was only the surface. Their true form existed within his sea of consciousness. Inside his mind, a magnificent 5-layered pagoda floated in endless space, surrounded by rings of white, blue, cyan, red, and yellow light. The tower and the bead radiated power, slowly rotating as if alive. This was the innate 5 elements pagoda, an incomplete yet terrifying treasure capable of both offense and defense. As its name suggested, it controlled the power of the 5 elements. With it, Xuan could form an indestructible 5-element shield around his body, blocking incoming attacks. And when it came to offense, the power of the 5 elements transformed into devastating abilities. Metal, countless sharp blades condensed from metal energy, raining down like a storm of swords. Wood, thick, thorn-covered vines erupted from the ground, binding and crushing enemies with relentless force. Water, a massive water dragon surged forward, carrying waves powerful enough to drown everything in its path. Fire, a fire elemental could be summoned, intelligent and obedient, capable of fighting independently. Earth, a colossal meteor descended from the sky, crushing enemies in a wide area with overwhelming force. Each ability was powerful on its own, but this was only the beginning, because the pagoda was damaged. Its true power had yet to be restored. As Xuan repaired it piece by piece, these abilities would only grow stronger, and even more terrifying abilities would awaken. And that still wasn't everything. The real core of the pagoda lay within. A hidden five-element space. Using the pagoda as its center, an innate formation constantly absorbed spiritual energy from the outside world and condensed it into a rare substance. 5 elements spiritual liquid. This liquid was extremely valuable. It could restore mana, heal injuries, nurture life, and even improve the surrounding environment. Although it couldn't compare to legendary divine substances like the Three Lights divine water, it was still an incredibly powerful treasure. And as the pagoda recovered, its potential would only continue to rise. As for the original Xiantian 5 elements pagoda, is there any Xiantian 5 elements spiritual liquid reserved from the beginning? Of course there are. Compared with the later 5 element spiritual liquid, the remaining innate 5 element spiritual liquid is not only 1,000 times more effective, but more importantly, it can improve people's physique, which is the most important thing. As mentioned above, whether it is cultivation magic or wizards, talent is needed. Isn't this so-called talent actually a special physique? With the help of the innate 5 element psychic liquid, Xuan's body was not broken when traveling through time and space, and even rejuvenated. As for the quantity, there used to be less than a small pond, but now there is only half a pond left. Don't think it's missing, you have to know that the use of such a treasure is calculated on the basis of drops. This pond is about 8 or 9 acres in size and 2 meters deep, so Xuan has made a lot of money, okay. Although there are quite a lot of these innate 5 element psychic fluids, at present, they are completely non-renewable resources. Based on the information transmitted to me by the innate 5 element pagoda, there is no way to condense such innate 5 element psychic fluids in the Hogwarts world. The only thing that can be condensed is the next level 5 element liquid. This is because the world of Hogwarts is still a world of aura, or magic power, otherwise it would be more difficult, which is why the Xiantian 5 elements pagoda and beast spirit orb took Xuan to travel through. The Wanshu Lingzhu is another bead-shaped innate spirit treasure. Unlike the Xiantian 5 elements pagoda, the Wanshu Lingzhu is completely an auxiliary spirit treasure. The ability it has is very simple, that is, there is a small world inside, which can accommodate animals to survive in it, and the growth and mutation speed of the animals in the small world will be greatly increased. At the same time, the animals in the small world will be forced to recognize the owner of the beast Lingzhu. Of course, the limit of this recognition can be set by Xuan, such as giving birth to wisdom or possessing magic power, or Xuan can set it manually. At present, Xuan chooses to set it manually, otherwise, if the chickens, ducks and geese raised in it later recognize the owner, how can they eat it? In addition, as the owner of the beast spirit orb, Xuan also has a passive talent of orc affinity. Generally speaking, as long as Xuan does not attack or harm animals, basically the initial favorability is not low. Of course, although it is a passive talent, Xuan can still restrict it, otherwise it would be too conspicuous to have a group of small animals following behind. Xuan was very happy when he saw this talent. Although Harry Potter's magical magic is very imaginative, Xuan also likes the magical animals in it very much. It's a pity that there is relatively little talk about magical animals in the world of Harry Potter. Basically, the talk is about the process of Harry Potter, the Savior, and the socket man Voldemort falling in love and killing each other. As for Fantastic Beasts, the trilogy that Xuan watched, the first and second parts are okay. There are many magical animals appearing, but the third part is fine. Sorry for the 4.8 of the full price. It is completely said it was Dumbledore and Grindelwald's love and death. I thought I could see new magical animals, but except for the Killen and Airwing birds in the trailer and the unknown scorpion, there were none. Xuan really wanted to shout, "RNMs refund the monies." Although I earned 3,000 a month at a young age, and I can buy a movie ticket and pay the full amount regardless of installments, but this is too much of a loss and I feel uncomfortable. But now that he has traveled to the world of Hogwarts, and he also has a treasure like the Beast Spirit Orb, what a great opportunity this is. I'm the man who's going to be a fantastic beasts master. Xuan has a unique habit of collecting hamsters. Although he earned 3,000 a month in his previous life, he still hasn't collected many things. At most, he just filled the refrigerator with drinks and ice cream. But now in the world of Hogwarts, it's like making yourself the hamster king. Suppress the excitement in my heart. Because of various indescribable reasons during the journey, the small world of the innate 5 elements pagoda and the beast Lingzhu merged together. Like the Xiantian 5 elements gathering array and Lington just mentioned, they are now in the small world of beast Lingzhu. Because of the Xiantian 5 Elements Pagoda, this small world is now more complete. At that time, all plants, animals, and microorganisms can be accommodated, and they will have the potential to continue to develop, and they will no longer be fixed and dead. There are two ways to develop and expand the small world. One is to use spiritual energy to accumulate it. Now that Xuan only has so many innate 5-element spiritual fluids, it is naturally impossible. It can only be the second way, slowly developing and improving the small world. This method is relatively slow, but Xuan likes this method with the lowest cost. After all, the small world is not small anymore. It is a full 10 square kilometers, which is enough for Xuan in a short time, and storage is just a small function that comes with it. And in the small world, Xuan is like a god, omnipotent of course. This is only in the small world. In the small world, the flow rate of time can also be changed, but this requires the consumption of spiritual energy. It can be a local change or a change in the entire space. This is still very important for Xuan in the future. In addition, with the protection of the innate 5 Elements Pagoda and the Beast Spirit Orb, no one can explore Xuan's memory, not even Dumbledore's legilimency. It's even more powerful than full-level occlumency. So it's good, it makes Xuan feel at ease, knowing that there are many things that he doesn't want Dumbledore to know. Otherwise, he will have to find another way to hide. Now he doesn't have any worries. In addition, the fusion of Xiantian 5 Elements Pagoda and Wanchu Lingzhu not only adds a small world, but also extends a skill in this respect, that is, space movement. At present, there is no limit to the longest distance traveled in space, because this skill is different from the previous 5 spells. Using this skill requires the consumption of 5 elements of psychic fluid. Therefore, as long as there is enough innate 5-element spiritual fluid, the distance can be infinite in theory, but it is only limited to the current plane, the current universe. As for whether it can travel to other worlds in the future, it will not be mentioned for the time being. Therefore, Xuan would not use it if it was not a big deal. After all, it consumes the innate 5-element psychic fluid. 1 year later, it is also Privet Drive in Little Winging, Surrey, but this time Xuan is not sitting on a bench by the road, but on a sofa in a house at number 6 Privet Drive. Why was Xuan able to enter this house, the original owner? Xuan just wants to tell you that in this capitalist world, there is nothing that money can't solve. If there is, it must be because you don't give enough. This year can be a thrilling and accumulative year for Xuan. Through this year, Xuan can be said to have accumulated a lot of background information. At least entering Hogwarts will allow him to relax a little bit. A billion hands and feet. As for why they chose this place, it was naturally because of Xuan's bad taste and wanted to witness something, such as the Dursley family who were scared by the owl and the letter and moved. Xuan moved into number 8 Privet Drive half a year ago. He also met Harry Potter a few times in the past 6 months, and he became acquainted. As for the rest, he has not done it for the time being. After all, some things are too late. Less than. What's more, for Xuan, having a good relationship with Harry Potter doesn't do any good and even has a lot of disadvantages, such as being noticed by a white wizard, being hated by a potions master, or being hated by a potion master. The socket man doesn't mind venting his anger on himself. I am already an adult. What I do is pay attention to benefits and rewards. Everything else is empty. There is no need to say anything about worshipping Harry Potter, the savior. I am not from this world, the so-called savior. I understand very well. Of course, it wouldn't be against Xuan's idea to give Harry Potter some delicious food when others didn't notice. After all, this poor kid knew that he was not doing well just by looking at his thin body, which was a circle smaller than his cousin Dudley. Speaking of family members, Harry Potter is actually just a servant to the Dursleys. Xuan will not be stingy with his kindness at certain times, especially when he is capable. As for whether Dumbledore will notice it because of this, that's unnecessary. After all, this is just a kind act of a kind child, isn't it? I have to say that Xuan's current age is very deceptive and can help him cover up some things. What's more, it doesn't matter even if Dumbledore finds out about such a small move, just to brush up his favorability in front of him, knowing that Xuan will have many things to trouble the old man in the future. What Xuan has to do now is to open the window and welcome in the Scottish round-faced rooster. No, it should be an owl that is cuckling outside the window. From the owl's mouth came the letter that Xuan had been waiting for a long time. He didn't rush to open it. After rubbing a few times on the owl's head, he took out a small piece of dried meat from the small world and tore it into small pieces. Arrange on a plate. As for whether he will not receive the notification from Hogwarts, that is absolutely impossible. As for the reason, you will understand it later. Xuan picked up the letter after taking out a plate filled with water taken from the system's space and feeding it to the owl. It is worth mentioning that the small world has changed a lot now. Xuan also built a warehouse inside to store supplies, such as the meat and water just now. As for why even the water has to be taken out of it, of course it is because the water is not simple. It is mixed with the 5-element spiritual liquid, which is good for animals and plants. The meat is also beef jerky made from the beef raised in the small world, so the owl over there is eating happily now. After all, because of the innate 5 elements gathering formation in the small world, the concentration of aura is not low, at least higher than the reality, so the quality of the grown fruits and vegetables and the raised animals has improved a lot. Turning the envelope around, looking at the wax seal with the letter H on the back, and the badges of lion, snake, eagle, and badger, Xuan only felt that this was a historic moment for him. 1. Open the envelope and take out the letter paper inside. On the letter paper are beautiful and coherent English strokes, let alone Xuan can't speak English. Although he had just passed the college entrance examination in his previous life. But after coming to this world for a year, with his transformed IQ, he quickly mastered English. So there is no problem at all in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. If it weren't for the black eyes, black hair, and yellow skin, just listening to his authentic wheel-squatting accent, I think he is a local. Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Principal, Albus Dumbledore, President of the International Federation of Wizards. First Class Merlin Sir Order, Great Magician, Chief Magician of Wizen'Gmo. Dear Mr. Xuan Lei, we are pleased to inform you that you have been accepted to study at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and enclose a list of required books and supplies. Academy is scheduled to start on September 1st, and we will be waiting for your owl to hear from you on July 31st. Sincerely, Deputy Principal Female Minerva McGonagall. This is just the first piece of letter paper in the envelope, and there is another piece of paper filled with all kinds of supplies needed for the start of school and books for learning magically Xuan. Then opened the letter paper at the back, which stated the items Xuan was going to purchase in Diagon Alley. Uniform. 1. 3 sets of plain work gowns black. 2. A plain peaked hat for day wear black. 3. A pair of protective gloves, dragon hide or similar. 4. A winter cloak black with silver buttons. Textbook. Standard Spells Elementary by Miranda Goshawk. A History of Magic, Bathilda Bagshot. A Theory of Magic by Edbe Wafflin. The Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration. Emery Switch. 1,000 Miraculous Herbs and Mushrooms by Philidas Power. Magic Potions and Potions by Arsenigiger. The Monster and Where It Comes From by Newt Scamander. Dark Forces. A Guide to Self-Defense by Quentin Trimble. Other equipment. A wand. A cauldron tin standard size 2, a set of glass or crystal vials, a telescope, a brass balance. Students may bring an owl or a cat or a toad. Note that freshmen are not allowed to bring their own broomsticks. Well, looking at the long list, freshmen really need to prepare a lot of things for admission. The last time I needed to prepare so many things for admission was the last time. Well, it should be said that the most recent time was when I was admitted to university. However, in my current situation, it is of course impossible to go to Diagon Alley to purchase by myself. I can only tell Professor McGonagall my situation in the reply letter and ask them to send a professor to take me to Diagon Alley to purchase. Although I have some relationship with the magic world now, I still have to hide it. Taking out the pen and paper, Xuan answered the letter on it. At this time, the owl who delivered the letter to Xuan was also full of food and drink. He stood aside and watched Xuan for a while. Flying here from Hogwarts is not easy. It is very happy for it to be able to get water and food supplements here. The owl that delivered the letter to Xuan belongs to the barn owl, which is the curious one in the owl population. Its cry is different from that of ordinary owls, and it trembles. From its name, it can be known that there are large horizontal and vertical stripes on its feathers, which are very recognizable, which is why Xuan recognized it immediately. Go please send this letter back to Hogwarts. After scratching the barn owl's head a few times, the little guy reluctantly yelled at Xuan a few times and then flew back from the window. As for why he is reluctant to part, don't forget Xuan's passive talent, animal affinity. Hogwarts really makes people yearn for it. Xuan looked at No. 4 Privet Drive, which was full of countless owls, and smiled, then stretched his right hand forward and a magic wand suddenly appeared in his hand. Luminescence. Seeing the tip of the magic wand in front of him become brighter, like a small lead light bulb, Xuan smiled. Magic, what a magical and desirable field. This year it has not been so peaceful for Xuan. Otherwise, where would this magic wand in his hand come from? You know, he has never been to Diagon Alley and Nocturne Alley this year. Xuan sat back on the sofa again, playing with the 11-inch long wand made of dragon heart string and aspen wood. This is not Xuan going to the Ollivander wand shop in Diagon Alley to buy his own wand from Mr. Ollivander, nor is it a worn-out wand from a thrift store. This wand looks brand new and has been well maintained. It was Xuan's trophy. To be precise, it was one of the trophy. This was obtained by Xuan from a dark wizard who tried to sneak up on him and plunder his wealth half a year ago. With the help of 2 innate spirit treasures, although the start was a bit difficult, Xuan's wealth can be said to have snowballed in half a year. Although Xuan, who is only 11 years old, has made some cover-ups, Xuan's cover-ups are so full of mistakes and omissions in the investigation of some big shots. Naturally, it ushered in the coveting of countless wolves and evil spirits. With the help of the Xiantian 5 Elements Pagoda and the Beast Spirit Orb, Xuan naturally solved some little troubles. But those people don't give up. Since conventional forces can't deal with you, even if you are not afraid of hot weapons, then there is nothing you can do about the wizard on the mysterious side, right? So these guys teamed up and paid a lot of money to hire a black wizard to deal with Xuan. As for why they are not afraid of violating the International Confederation of Wizards Secrecy Act and being hunted down by the Aurors of the Ministry of Magic. Just kidding, they have all become dark wizards, who still abides by the damn secrecy law. Don't think that the Muggle world and the magical world are completely divided. Although there is a secrecy law, most ordinary people at the bottom do not know the existence of wizards. But for some wealthy and powerful people, they still know the existence of wizards. In particular, some dark wizards will cooperate with some big families to get what they need. So it is not surprising that they can contact the dark wizards to deal with Xuan touching the fine white texture on the aspen wand. Xuan couldn't help but think of the thrilling battle half a year ago again. That day when Xuan left a certain company, he drove away in a car under the support of the driver and bodyguards. When he passed a certain inaccessible place, the black wizard suddenly appeared. Although Xuan's bodyguards were also carrying hot weapons, they couldn't last long in front of prepared wizards. With multiple layers of armor spells on his body, the small caliber pistol bullets hitting the opponent's body would not have much effect at all. And after a few disarming spells, a few Cruciatus Curse, and the frighteningly green Avada Kedavra, these Abao veterans that Xuan hired at a high price were just over. This is also the first time that Xuan really faced the extraordinary power of this world, and it also completely made him change his mind. Originally, I thought that in front of well-trained and fully armed soldiers, even if a wizard is powerful, he can at most be 1 against 10, or even 1 against 100 at Dumbledore's level. As a result, the reality slapped him hard. If it was really that simple, all countries would not live in peace with the magic world. After all, do you think they are not greedy for these magical powers? At the same time, we all know that chivalry is forbidden by martial arts. And in these so-called democratic countries, wizards with extraordinary powers have done a lot of outrageous things, and the governments of various countries have wiped their asses for countless times. But why they didn't attack them in the end was not because even if the opponent had only tens of millions of people, they could easily subvert a country. Among other things, how can you play after the Imperious Curse goes on and the heads of government of various countries are manipulated? Of course, Xuan was very calm that day. After all, he was already familiar with the attack, but this time the attacker was different from before. It was a wizard instead. Perhaps others don't know that these so-called bodyguards are actually just tools used by Xuan to hide himself. The whole card, the strength that cannot be clearly seen by others, can be called the whole card, and if everyone knows it, it cannot be called the whole card. Perhaps everyone, including the Black Wizard, did not expect that Xuan was the most powerful existence in this team. Xuan still remembered the shock and disbelief on the sorcerer's pale face under the hood when the two of them clashed spells. That day, Xuan only used 2 spells from the innate 5 Elements Tower to kill the Muggle-born wizard from Hogwarts, Ron Claw. As for the 2, one is a defensive 5-element shield, and the other is an offensive metallic sword. However, Xuan's combat experience is not rich enough, so he should have opened the shield directly from the beginning. Originally, he planned to use the wood attribute 10,000 vines to strangle the Black Wizard. After all, he knew that a wizard without a wand was a tiger with his teeth pulled out, and he had nothing to fear. It turned out that the other party could still cast spells silently while being tied up. If Xuan hadn't reacted quickly and added the 5-element shield in time, it was really possible that the gutter would capsize. After all, who would have thought casually that the Black Wizard had mastered the 2 superb abilities of wandless casting and silent casting? However, the cutting curse still left a scar on Xuan's waist. Although the scar has fallen off, Xuan still felt a dull pain when he reached out and stroked it. However, this black wizard has only mastered the cutting curse to this extent, and has no other spells, otherwise a phantom can slip away directly. But after Xuan used the 5-element shield, even if the black wizard exhausted all the magic power in his body, he issued dozens of cutting curses but failed to break the shield. The surprise on his face undoubtedly did not mean that he relied on this familiar cutting mana, doesn't know how many times Absolute has come back. Who would have thought that a 10-year-old child would possess such great power? It was also the cutting curse that made Xuan stop completely focusing on the layout of the Muggle world. After all, reborn in this era, it is natural to do some business layout and planning. After all, having money can turn ghosts around and is suitable for use everywhere. In this era, even a pig can fly with the wind of the era. Before, Xuan was a little too immersed in making money and business layout, and forgot that his own strength is the root. No way, Xuan in his previous life was just an ordinary person. He was able to gallop in the business world all of a sudden. The feeling of scolding Fang Q was really fascinating. However, that battle made Xuan completely sober. Although the commercial layout is still going on in reality, after all, it is not enough to only have supreme power in the wizarding world, or only have powerful power in the Muggle world. What Xuan wants is to be strong in both aspects, grasping with both hands, the two complement each other. This is Xuan's goal. So now the industry in the real world is handed over to Xuan's rest-assured subordinates to manage it, and he only needs to give general goals according to the future development. As for how to make these subordinates loyal to him and not ruin his property, the method of carrot and stick is the simplest. Showed off his abilities a little bit, and then told them that he could get some potions for them in the future, which of course convinced these guys. Of course, this is only on the surface. Xuan doesn't think that this will make these guys follow him wholeheartedly. Xuan believes that there is a saying that is very correct: don't betray. It is nothing more than the cost of betrayal is not proportional to the reward. So Xuan secretly used the Imperious Curse to change the thinking of these managements. This change is subtle, like drizzle, moistening things silently. It wouldn't do any harm to their bodies, otherwise Xuan wouldn't do it either. After all, if there are some sequelae that make these guys become fools, how can they manage their own property? Because Xuan used the Dark Wizard's wand and it was well hidden, even if the wizard came face to face with them, they would not find this problem. At the same time, Xuan also knew that if he is too famous in this world, he will be taken as leaks. The real capitalists are hidden behind the scenes, and his current age is too shocking. Therefore, Xuan also slowly erased his own existence, so as not to reveal any flaws, and spread that the real master of his property was a 10-year-old child. It also makes people question false and true, true and false. Sometimes when you tell the truth, others don't believe it. As for the people who came into contact with him and understood his existence, Xuan also personally modified their memories. It is to change rather than erase. Otherwise it will really feel like there is no silver 300 tails here. If this is a parallel world without superpowers, Xuan's acquisition of so much wealth at this age will shock the world, but it will also make him an idol of countless people. But in this magical world, Xuan's performance will not make him an idol, but only a well-growing leek or even the object of the Imperious Curse. Therefore, the appearance of this black wizard was very timely. It not only woke up Xuan, but also added a lot of background to Xuan. Not to mention anything else, the Imperious Curse just mentioned was learned from the Black Wizard's notes. As for why Xuan was able to use the wand, and when did he awaken his magic power, in fact, Xuan awakened when he just traveled to Hogwarts. Because his body has been transformed, his awakening does not want to make all kinds of big movements like other little wizards. As I said before, the so-called magic power is just the name of this world. You can call it magic power, spiritual power, mana power, etc. In fact, Xuan could go to Hogwarts to go to school last year. But one is that Xuan's physical age is less than 11 years old, and the other is that Xuan let the Xiantian 5 Elements Pagoda and the 10,000 Beasts Lingzhu shield the fact that he has awakened. In front of the Xiantian 5 Elements Pagoda and the 10,000 Beasts Lingzhu, the books of admission and pens of acceptance left by the 4 giants of Hogwarts are nothing more than younger brothers. Xuan also needs some time to think, and at the same time the small world also needs a lot of supplies. If you enter Hogwarts, it is a closed school, and it will be difficult for Xuan to leave, but if you want to make the small world vigorous, money is the fastest way in the Muggle world. The current small world is full of vitality, and its area has also expanded a lot. As for the situation, I will talk about it later. As mentioned earlier, Xuan obtained a lot of things from the Dark Wizard's legacy, so there is no need to mention the gold gallon, silver sickle, and copper nut. However, what is worth complaining about is the currency conversion of the wizarding world. 29 copper nuts are combined into one silver sickle, and 17 silver sickles are combined into one gold galleon. There is no regular conversion ratio, and those wizards think it is very easy to remember. Well, maybe the brain circuits of wizards are so different. With this conversion system, they will never be able to understand why the cashier pays 12 yuan for 7 yuan when Donghuang pays in cash. Thanks to the fact that this dark wizard came from the studious Raven Crow, they firmly believe that extraordinary ingenuity is the greatest wealth of human beings. Therefore, the Wizard of La Wen Keluo, who is also Li Xuan's senior, has a notebook in the bag where he has cast the space expansion spell, which records many spells in detail. I don't know why a part of this notebook is missing, but the spells recorded on it alone are enough for Li Xuan to study for half a year. There are a total of 14 spells, including 7 general practical spells: descaling, apparition, repairing, cutting, levitating, wand glowing, and flying. To be honest, Li Xuan's other spells are understandable, but why are the cutting spells included in the general utility spells? Shouldn't this be an offensive spell? Could it be that this spell was invented only for cutting flesh? However, after learning the cutting curse, Li Xuan also understood a little bit why the cutting curse was included in the general utility spell. The reason was naturally its power. Li Xuan was frightened by the cutting curse used by the Black Wizard, thinking that the cutting curse was so powerful in the first place. In fact, he ignored the Black Wizard who used the cutting spell. In the notes of the other party, Li Xuan was able to know that the strength of the other party was a great wizard who was at the 4th level among the 9 levels of wizards, and the rest of the wizard levels would speak slowly. The incantation of the cutting curse is split into pieces, and the Black Wizard of the Great Wizard level can easily cut through Li Xuan's body with the cutting curse. But you must know that the cutting curse is a magic spell that makes the cursed object suddenly split. But the talented Black Wizard changed it to a mode similar to Snape's sharp front and shadowless. But look at other people's use of the cutting spell. Not to mention others, our savior, Mr. Harry Potter, used the cutting spell in the 4th grade and could only crack Cedric's school bag. Ron cut off the lace sleeves of the gown with a cutting spell before the Yule Ball. From such a comparison, we can see how far the Black Wizard's cutting spell has been used. Just because he can cast spells without a staff and silently, we know that he must have a different talent for cutting spells. In addition to these 7 general utility spells, there are the offensive spells Disarming, the defensive spells Armor, other types of spells Transmutation, and Untraceable Stretch. In addition, in the eyes of ordinary wizards, the standard black magic of Black Wizards, especially the 3 unforgivable curses, the Imperious Curse used by Li Xuan earlier, as well as the Cruciatus Curse and the Killing Curse. Li Xuan has at least mastered these 14 curses in the past 6 months. And it can even be said that he is very proficient except for the 3 unforgivable curses. And why the 3 unforgivable curses are exclusive, it is naturally because the use of black magic requires the caster to have negative emotions, especially the 3 unforgivable curses here. But if you use black magic too much, people will be affected by emotions such as anger, hatred, and resentment attached to black magic, and eventually lose their minds and become lunatics. This is why it is said in the wizarding world that using black magic will bring misfortune to people. In addition to the dozen or so spells just mentioned, there is another trophy that is the magic wand in his hand. Li Xuan has not yet reached the level of being able to cast spells without a staff and silently. That Black Wizard was able to achieve this level after more than 10 years of practice. It's just constant practice and hard work. This captured wand can be said to be the first wand in Li Xuan's life. Although it was not tailor-made, Li Xuan is using it very smoothly now. One is because Li Xuan's physique was changed into a 5-element body by the innate 5 elements pagoda. The material of the wand would naturally be close to Li Xuan. Second, it is because of the materials used to make the wand. This is a wand made of aspen wood and dragon heartstrings. You will understand after reading the introduction of these 2 materials. When choosing aspen for a staff, look for it to be white and fine-grained, as it is similar to ivory and very capable of casting spells. It is popular among all wand makers, and the appropriate owner of an aspen wand is usually a skilled or destined duelist. It is easier to make a powerful wand with a dragon heartstring as the core, and the spells used will be more gorgeous. Using this type of wand to learn magic will be faster than other types. But once such a wand is won from its original owner, it immediately establishes a close bond with the new owner. The dragon heartstring wand itself is not inclined to the dark arts, but it is the wand most likely to turn to the dark arts. Now I understand why Xuan will soon be able to use this magic wand like an arm. The reason is naturally because of its own problems. It will surrender to the stronger one. After seeing these two materials, he also knew that the black wizard, like his dean, had different talents in spells and duels. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many records of spells in just a damaged notebook. You must know that in the wizarding world, it is not that the more spells you master, the more powerful you are, and more depends on the degree of mastery. Just look at this cutting spell. He has played a general practical spell, which is more powerful than the general offensive spell. At the same time, Xuan is also very fortunate that the other party is indeed very powerful. According to the notes, this wizard is not just as simple as a great wizard, but is about to advance to an elite wizard just one step away. The other party originally planned to go back to be promoted after receiving Xuan's order, but he didn't expect to fall short and fell directly into the hands of Xuan, a young man who didn't speak martial arts. Well, this is just like the supporting character in the movie saying that he will go back to get married after the war, and he will definitely receive a lunch box. Such a flag is not a good one. A few days have passed since Xuan received the notice from Hogwarts, and Xuan is still staying in the house at number 8 Privet Drive these days. In addition to dealing with some difficult-to-decision matters sent by his subordinates, what Xuan watches most is the various farces at No. 4 Privet Drive nearby. The first thing is to take it to the zoo. Harry's magic power explosion and the awakening of Parseltongue gave Dudley a taste of what it means to be surrounded by people. After that, all kinds of owls came to report every day, and they kept sending them letters, which was very annoying. It seemed that the other party was going to move soon. As for why Xuan didn't go out and stay at home, it was naturally because he was waiting for a reply. He had already received a reply from Hogwarts yesterday, telling him that a professor would come to his house at 3 o'clock this afternoon and take him to Diagon Alley for shopping. Items needed to start school, that's why Xuan waited quietly at home. Actually, it wasn't boring. There were so many owls in the Dursleys' house next door. Xuan prepared a lot of food and water for them in his own yard. Ding dong! Xuan heard the doorbell ring and looked up at the time. It seemed that the professor who came was very punctual. Hold on. Xuan got up and went to open the door. I don't know which professor came to take him to Diagon Alley this time. Professor McGonagall of Gryffindor, Professor Snape of Slytherin, or Hufflepuff's Professor Sprout. Thinking of this, Xuan opened the door. Don't say anything so powerful. A man doesn't have a servant in his house. With the existence of magic, Xuan does not need the help of others at all, not to mention that Xuan has too many secrets here, which are not suitable for others to see. In addition, Xuan lived alone before time travel, and he was used to it, so he didn't need others to disrupt his rhythm of life. There is magic to help with cleaning. As for the food, Xuan thinks it is better to do it by himself. The dishes of the chefs in England do not meet his appetite. As for the problem of unavailable ingredients, is it difficult for Xuan to solve this problem with his current wealth? Mr. Xuan Li, or according to your customs, you should be called Mr. Xuan. When he opened the door, Xuan heard the other party call out his name. Unlike the average Englishman, the other party didn't feel awkward when he pronounced his name. Xuan looked over. The person who came to pick him up to Diagon Alley this time was Professor Flitwick, the Dean of La Wen Keluo. Just now Xuan talked about the deans of the 3 colleges, but the one who didn't mention came here. Yes, thank you very much, who are you? Although the heart is like a mirror, Xuan still has to go through the procedures that should be followed. Good afternoon, Mr. Xuan. I am Phileas Flitwick, Professor of Charms at Hogwarts, Dean of La Wen Crow House. I am your guide sent by Hogwarts School to take you to purchase some preparations and books needed for the start of school. Professor Flitwick, Xuan also understood why the other party could pronounce his name correctly. The reason was that a Donghuang student had just enrolled in his college last year. Zhang Qiu. For this Donghuang girl who will fascinate our savior Mr. Harry Potter in the future, Zhang Qiu should be the white moonlight in his heart, even though she married Ginny Weasley in the end. However, after Xuan saw Harry Potter, he knew that this was the movie version, not the novel version, so to this fellow, he could only say hello fellow, goodbye fellow. After all, the aesthetics of the East and the West are different, and Xuan saw it in his previous life. Professor Flitwick, welcome, please come in. There were many thoughts in Su Ran's mind, but Xuan still had the politeness he should have on the surface, and quickly opened the door and turned sideways and said to Professor Flitwick. Professor Flitwick nodded with a smile on his face. Considering Flitwick's height, Xuan led him to a low, soft sofa. As a fighting master, Professor Flitwick's ability to observe things is naturally not bad. From the time he came into contact with it until now, he is still very satisfied with Xuan. According to his letter, Xuan was alone, but whether it was in dealing with people or seeing him for the first time, he did not discriminate against him because of his fairy blood, that is, his short stature. Other emotions. Professor Flitwick, who is sensitive by nature, does not feel any bad emotions with Xuan. And considering his body shape, he chose such a sofa, which undoubtedly does not mean that this is a gentle and considerate child. Flitwick's favorability for Xuan instantly rose a lot when he was able to maintain such a personality in his life alone. Xuan brought out 2 cups of black tea and some cookies and put them on the table. The two sat on the sofa and chatted for a while, and Professor Flitwick was full of praise for Xuan's black tea and cookies. Tell him to treat him to some sizzling bees or taffy from the Honeyjuke's candy shop when he's at Hogwarts. After chatting for more than 10 minutes, Professor Flitwick mainly told Xuan some basic knowledge about the magical world. Of course, it was Xuan's eagerness to learn that made the Dean of Law Wen Keluo very satisfied with him. In addition, Professor Flitwick has a gentle personality, so naturally he would not mind telling him something. It's almost time, let's go to Diagon Alley, where we can help you purchase all the items you need to start school, especially the very important wand for wizards. During the conversation, after learning that Xuan does not need student loans, Professor Flitwick did not say much. After all, Xuan still owns such a house by himself. Looking at his clothes and complexion, Professor Flitwick knew that the living conditions of the other party would not be too bad. As for how Xuan, a young boy, can keep such wealth, Professor Flitwick doesn't want to explore too much. Who doesn't have his own secrets in life? Sometimes don't be too curious so that you can live a long time. Perhaps Xuan, if you have extra gold you can bring more after all, although Gringotts also allows the exchange of British pounds for galleons, it is only for Muggle freshmen at Hogwarts College. There is a limit to how many pounds can be exchanged for galleons, maybe just enough to buy the items on the list, and even a little tight. Xuan nodded, knowing that this was Professor Flitwick's kind reminder to himself. In the conversation just now, Xuan also asked about the currency of the magic world. Although he knew it well, he had to pretend not to know. During the conversation, I also know that gold, a precious metal, has great value in both the Muggle world and the Wizarding world, and it can be said to be a common currency. Xuan got up and entered the room, put some gold in a bag and came out. In fact, it was just a cover-up, and the real thing was taken out from the small world. Knowing that he was going to study at Hogwarts, Xuan naturally made preparations in advance. Among other things, he must have enough money. Money is the way to go, whether it is Xuan's daily needs or Xuan's subsequent purchase of magical animals, all need golden galleons. However, Xuan did not bring too much. After all, this time, he and Professor Flitwick used to be familiar with the route. After all, it's not good to exchange for galleons on a large scale in front of Professor Flitwick. After all, Xuan collected a lot of gold in this year. If it is taken out, although Xuan's net worth is not comparable to our Savior Harry's Potter family treasury, it should not be too small. No way, although there is very little gold in the Wizarding world, it is quite a lot in the Muggle world. As long as you have money, you can exchange it. Although large-scale exchange can easily attract the attention of the government, Xuan always does it in small batches and even asked his staff to make a lot of vests. Over time, the gold in Xuan's current small world has piled up into a small mountain. Professor Flitwick, my side is ready. Professor Flitwick nodded, took out his wand and said, in that case, let's go to Diagon Alley. However, grabbing the corner of my clothes before that may be a little uncomfortable during the apparition. It will be like this for the first time, and it will be better to get used to it later. Xuan nodded, the apparition magic of course. He also saw about the apparition spell in the Black Wizard's notes. Did you learn? Of course I learned it, such a cool spell. You can run around with a swoosh, a rare space spell. How could Xuan give up? Have you learned how to use it? Of course it is. No law. As for the reason, Xuan will never tell you that it is because he is from the heart. After all, this apparition magic is different from other magic. If it is not used properly, it will appear split body. That's right, literally part of the body stays where it is, while the other part goes to the apparating destination. Both sides can't move. If you are lucky, you can wait until the Ministry of Magic's reversal incident team to deal with it. If you are not lucky, you will be bye. Our little friend Ron Weasley will have such a tragic experience in the future, so Xuan dare not try such a very dangerous spell as apparition lightly. You must know that in order to avoid problems with apparition, the Ministry of Magic even set up a special apparition test center. The purpose, of course, is to ensure that apparition beginners can use this magic well, and even if something goes wrong, they can be remedied in time in the Ministry of Magic. As for the learning points of apparition, the Black Wizard's notes also made it very clear, that is, the 3D principle, that is, goal, determination, and calmness. Similarly, launching this magic is also a 3-step principle. Step 1, focus awareness on the goal. Step 2, make up your mind and let the thought of going there flood your mind. Step 3, turn around on the spot and feel the body become nothingness, and move calmly. Doesn't it look simple and understandable? But we all know that people are always afraid of the unknown. Xuan has completed the first few steps very well. But in the end, calmly, I really can't do it, after all, I haven't experienced it. Xuan did not insist on this because he was waiting for this opportunity, and after experiencing it himself, he would no longer be so afraid. This feeling. Xuan couldn't help mumbling as he looked at the sudden change in front of him. How are you doing? Professor Flitwick on the side asked with concern. After all, as a master of spells, he knew all too well the aftereffects of using the apparition spell for the first time. Xuan shook his head, indicating that he was fine. In fact, during the transfer process of the apparition charm, people will feel a sense of suffocation, and at the same time, there will be a feeling of tearing and squeezing all over the body. After all, it involves space. But Xuan's current physical fitness is not as simple as that of an 11-year-old child, so the discomfort disappeared after a few seconds. Excellent adaptability, you will definitely be more talented than other wizards in learning the apparition spell in the future. Look, Xuan got rid of the aftereffects of the apparition curse so quickly, Professor Flitwick said happily. After all, not to mention other young wizards, even adult wizards using the apparition charm for the first time are not much better. Some people with poor physique even spit it out, but those like Xuan are rare. However, Professor Flitwick didn't doubt anything. After all, in the magical world, people have different physiques, and many people are naturally close to certain magic. As for whether science is scientific or not, science in the magical world, maybe Newton silently used magic to drive a few more nails into his coffin. This is the entrance to Diagon Alley, the leaky cauldron. Professor Flitwick pointed to the wizard bar in front and said to Xuan, "This is the No. 1 Diagon Alley store in the true sense. You must know that the leaky cauldron was established about 2 centuries before the implementation of the International Confederation of Wizards Secrecy Act. The Leaky Cauldron is now a pure wizarding pub, but in the beginning, Muggles were also allowed to enter. Although they will not be excluded in the Leaky Cauldron, they will still find the topics of conversation in the bar extremely absurd. It seemed to them that a group of hysterical, that is to say, mentally ill people were talking here. Thinking about it, it's normal. If it was me, I went to a bar, and the people inside were talking about magic, potions, and monsters with a serious face. And the other party still has a serious face when chatting. He looks no different from normal people, and the system is still very complete. You will feel that either you have been tricked, or this group of people are crazy. Of course, in modern times, you may also add that you have entered a cosplay bar, and these people are entertaining themselves. Later, after the International Federation of Wizards Secrecy Act was implemented, the Leaky Cauldron bar was hidden by magic to avoid being discovered by Muggles. Xuan was able to see the Leaky Cauldron, naturally because he had awakened his magic power, and other Muggles who had not awakened their magic power would not be able to see it unless they were accompanied by a wizard. Opening the door of the Leaky Cauldron, although it is broad daylight, the inside is a little dark, and even some places are lit with candles. This is very much in line with the style of the wizard, but it is not so suitable for Xuan. Xuan took a look and found that there was a bar on the first floor where the owner Tom was wiping the cups. Besides that, there was a cafeteria and a small private room for some unknown purpose. Inside sat many wizards in wizard robes and pointed wizard hats. "Oh, Professor Flitwick, it's rare to see you. Are you still the same?" Even though the sharp-eyed Tom over there was chatting with the guests, he still spotted Professor Flitwick. "No thanks, Tom. I'm going to take Hogwarts freshmen to Diagon Alley to buy items now." Professor Flitwick smiled and rejected Tom's offer. And when he heard what Professor Flitwick said, Tom smiled and nodded to Xuan. "That's right, it's another school year, and the professors at Hogwarts are going to be busy again. And Xuan is not Harry Potter, so naturally he won't cause a huge sensation as soon as he appears on the stage, so what should the wizards in the bar do? Then naturally, he wouldn't meet Professor Quirrell and the socket man on the back of his head. Just look at the fact that the other party didn't even dare to touch Harry's hand. But it's okay if you don't meet him. Xuan doesn't want to smell that garlic smell and hear his stammering voice. Now is not the time for Xuan to confront the socket man. Xuan also nodded with a smile, then continued to follow Professor Flitwick, opened the door, and walked into an alley with only one wall. In the corner of this wall, there is also a trash can. Count 3 bricks above this trash can, then count 2 bricks across, remember this position and tap with your wand, that's it. Professor Flitwick was not in a hurry to take Xuan into Diagon Alley, but first told him the precautions. Xuan nodded, expressing that he understood and knew that Professor Flitwick was teaching him. I have to say that Professor Flitwick taught him a lot of knowledge along the way. Professor, if this trash can is removed, wouldn't it be in the wrong place? Xuan suddenly remembered a question he had while watching a movie in his previous life, and asked quickly. Hearing Xuan's words, Professor Flitwick smiled and said, "A little wizard like you who likes to think will very likely enter La Wen Keluo. But don't worry, the Ministry of Magic cast a spell on the trash can just to prevent some naughty little wizards from doing this kind of thing. As long as the trash can is removed, it will return to its original position after 3 minutes. As for judging whether the trash can is in its original state, just see if it is under the recess on the wall." Seeing that Xuan was fine and remembered it, Professor Flitwick nodded in satisfaction. If there is no accident, such a little wizard will definitely enter La Wen Keluo, and then he will be his student. In fact, even if Xuan doesn't join Wen Keluo, Professor Flitwick will patiently answer his questions. After all, Professor Flitwick has such a personality, and he never gets bored with studious little wizards. Otherwise, Hermione will not become his favorite student in the future, even if the other party is not the smart Ravenclaw, but the brave Gryffindor. Many times, even Professor Flitwick felt that the Sorting Hat was wrong. How could Hermione be a student of Gryffindor? From this point of view, she was a student of La Wen Keluo. You must know that Hermione is a real academic master. In the semester when there are exams, she is basically the number one. Even the little wizard of La Wen Keluo can't compare to her. Professor Flitwick even secretly discussed with Professor McGonagall about transferring Hermione, but Professor McGonagall was unwilling. Hermione was not only Professor Flitwick's favorite student, but also Professor McGonagall's pride. With Hermione around, what other colleges wanted to say that Gryffindor was just foolhardy, just reckless? No matter what the other party said, Professor McGonagall could use "Hermione is Gryffindor's" to lightly reply back. This feeling is not to mention how happy it is. The previous Gryffindor was known for being troublesome and mischievous, but with the addition of Hermione, it will be completely different. Professor Flitwick used a very subtle levitation spell to levitate himself, without even having to say the spell. As a master of spells, many spells can be cast silently for him. As Professor Flitwick clicked lightly on the corresponding bricks, the whole wall seemed to be triggered, and it rotated from the middle to both sides, finally forming a circular stone door. Although I saw it in the movie, it was even more shocking to see it with my own eyes. Welcome to Diagon Alley. Professor Flitwick even said to Xuan with a sense of ceremony. Xuan was very excited when he saw the streets of wizards with people coming and going. Although it has been a year since I came to the world of Hogwarts, I still have the innate 5 elements pagoda and the beast spirit orb. I have also learned the magic spell, and I have a magic wand, but I am still very excited now. Not because of anything else, but because of something called feelings. Stepping here means that Xuan's magic journey has officially started. Professor Flitwick didn't interrupt or urge Xuan either. He could understand Xuan's agitation very well. Maybe every young Muggle-born wizard would be like this. Sorry, Professor, for keeping you waiting. Fortunately, Xuan didn't get agitated there for long, and calmed down the agitation in his heart after a few seconds. It's okay, magic is always fascinating, isn't it? Professor Flitwick knew what Xuan meant, waved his hand, and even said such a sentence playfully. Xuan nodded and then followed him into Diagon Alley, a gathering place for wizards, and he immediately blended into it, like water dripping into the sea, as if Xuan was born to belong here. As for why Xuan didn't come to Diagon Alley by himself before, one reason is that he didn't understand, and it would be easy for him to come here rashly and leave behind. The second is that at that time his strength was not that strong. Even with the backing of the innate 5 elements tower and the beast spirit orb, he was still too weak. There were too many means in the magic world. Xuan didn't want to capsize in the gutter. It's not long since I came to this world and I still want to enjoy it. Thirdly, it's because Xuan's goal is too obvious. Such an 11-year-old little wizard holding a golden galleon around, isn't that courting death? Xuan doesn't have a good way to hide himself now. A teenager can't hide even if he puts on a wizard's robe. Of course, it doesn't mean that there is no such method at all, but this method has not been used before, and Xuan only learned it recently and has not had time to use it. In addition, he didn't know much about Diagon Alley before, and he was said to be in Nocturne Alley. Xuan was afraid that he would not be able to get out after entering, or whether he could come out completely was still a problem. There is only one life, Xuan will not make fun of it. Like the kind of protagonist who stepped on Voldemort soon after crossing, mad at Dumbledore and fought against Grindelwald, Xuan said that he is not that type. He is that kind of special one, you know, the kind that is sincere and kind. Taking advantage of this time to follow Professor Flitwick into Diagon Alley, Xuan wants to learn more about Diagon Alley so he can come here next time. Xuan likes to prepare in advance. Perhaps Professor Flitwick heard what Xuan was saying, so when he led Xuan forward, he gave him a general introduction to these shops. The Bouncing and Frolicking Magic Joke Shop, which sells all kinds of joke goods, the Florin Fusco Ice Cream Parlor unique to the wizarding world, and the QuickBook Stationery Shop, which sells quills, ink, and parchment. A Quidditch boutique that sells all kinds of Quidditch equipment including quaffles, bludgers, and broomsticks, and a Weissreck Magic Supply Store that sells all kinds of magic items. There's also Yilla's Owl Shop, which sells all kinds of owls, and Xuan's favorite, the Fantastic Beasts Shop. However, Xuan didn't rush over there but secretly wrote it down in his heart, and he will come again later, so let's follow Professor Flitwick to purchase the items needed for teaching. The first thing the little wizard did when he came to Diagon Alley was to go to the only wizard bank in the entire English wizarding world to exchange for galleons. Naturally, Xuan was no exception. He followed Professor Flitwick to the crooked-looking Gringotts, which was a tall and towering snow-white marble building. To be honest, Xuan, who is a bit obsessive-compulsive, really wanted to ask why he did this. Isn't Fang Zheng right? Even if it is crooked, why can't it be consistent? The first floor is tilted to the left, and the second and third floors are tilted to the right. That clever designer designed it so wise, let's talk about it. Xuan really seemed to straighten a crooked pillar. Forget it. Xuan also knew it was impossible, so he didn't look at it. Let's go and exchange for galleons first. Xuan followed Professor Flitwick into the Gringotts Bank building, stepped on the white stone steps, and then stepped through two shiny bronze doors. There is also a goblin in a scarlet and gold uniform at the door. After seeing Professor Flitwick, he changed his indifference and smiled at him. Xuan knew why, after all, Professor Flitwick had goblin blood. After entering the first door, there is an inner hall, and then there is another door, and you have to go further to reach a tall marble hall. Xuan can also understand, after all, it is a bank, and it is normal to have two doors. In this lobby, hundreds of goblins are busy sitting on high stools behind the counter, some weighing coins with copper balances, some examining gems with eyepieces, and some keeping records in large ledgers. Xuan also observed that there are countless doors in the hall, which should be the doors leading to different vaults. Professor Flitwick brought Xuan to a goblin. Seeing the familiarity of the two, Xuan didn't rush to interrupt their conversation anyway. He wasn't in a hurry either. However, Professor Flitwick also knew the purpose of coming here, so he stopped talking after a few words with that goblin. For Professor Flitwick, entering Gringotts Bank is like returning home. All the goblins here are talented and they speak nicely. I really like it here. Well, this is the end of the teasing. Under Professor Flitwick's gesture, Xuan stepped forward to chat with the other party. Hi, I'm a freshman at Hogwarts this year, and I want to exchange some galleons. The goblin sitting on the high stool nodded. During the conversation with Professor Flitwick just now, he already knew that Xuan was a little muggle-born wizard, so he spoke. For young muggle-born wizards, according to the regulations of the Ministry of Magic, you have an exchange quota of £1,000. The exchange rate between British pounds and galleons is 5-to-1. How much do you want to exchange? Xuan had guessed that the Gringotts Bank had an exchange quota of galleons and British pounds for young muggle-born wizards, but he didn't expect that there was 1,000 quota, and the ratio was only 5-to-1. In other words, just by exchanging for this galleon, you can PR asterisks and asterisk ute 200 galleons for nothing. That's great. For Xuan, the British pound is a scumbag compared to the galleon, not to mention 5-to-1, 50-to-1, and 500-to-1. It's a pity that there is only 1,000 quota. And this quota is something that every muggle wizard will have. Even if you don't use it all at once, you can continue to use it later. Thinking about it this way, Xuan also understood that it was undoubtedly a student loan similar to the previous life. Although 200 gold galleons may seem like a lot, but in 7 years on average, it is less than 30 a year, which is just over 20 gold galleons. Much, not many, basically these galleons will be used to buy all kinds of books and magic supplies for study, and it is impossible to eat, drink, and have fun with extravagance. It even needs to be planned well. Like ordinary little muggle wizards and professors, when they bring them here for the first time, they suggest not to use up the galleon quota all at once. Otherwise, it will be very difficult later. After all, they have seen too many little wizards who exchanged all the galleons, and in the end they couldn't control themselves and spent all the galleons lavishly. In the end, they had to go to thrift shops to find second-hand textbooks, copper scales, and other materials. There are naturally many fun and delicious things in the wizarding world, but all of them require galleon. Isn't the candy at Honeyduke's not good? Is the butter beer at the Three Broomsticks bad? Aren't the toys in Zuko's joke shop fun? How long can your little galleon last? But many little wizards didn't listen, and in the end the result was obvious. In this regard, the professors of Hogwarts will remind, but they will not force it. After all, it may be counterproductive. What's more, your life, after all, has to be your own decision. Whether it is good or bad, you have the final say. I want to exchange it for 1,000 pounds of galleons. Xuan took off the backpack he had been wearing all the time, took out a roll of pounds from it, and handed it to the goblin. Seeing that Xuan had exchanged the amount of galleon all at once, Professor Flitwick didn't say much. Although he didn't get along with Xuan for a short time, he could feel that Xuan was a mature and stable person whose age didn't match. And the other party didn't just rely on the channel of exchanging British pounds for galleons. Professor Flitwick saw the gold bars in Xuan's backpack when he just opened it. After receiving all the 200 gold galleons into his backpack, Xuan turned upside down. It was not light. If not for the fact that his body was stronger than the average young man, he would not be able to carry it at all, but now it's okay, it's not a problem. But 200 gold galleons were enough to fill 2/3 of Xuan's backpack. So Xuan originally planned to exchange all 3 gold bars in the backpack. After thinking about it, it is better to exchange for a small one, otherwise it will really not fit. This kind of trouble is really uncomfortable. In fact, it is okay to not exchange it with gold bars, but Xuan wants to find out the exchange ratio between gold and galleon, otherwise it will be difficult to estimate next time by himself. Xuan handed over the smallest gold bar, weighing 200 grams, from his backpack. I still need to exchange this gold bar for galleons. Seeing the gold bars that Xuan placed on the table, the eyes of the goblins around them all flashed a greedy look. They were just looking, they didn't dare to snatch the wizard's things, it was just their greedy nature just playing tricks. A few minutes later, Xuan walked out of Gringotts Bank with a bag full of galleons on his back. Who would have thought that such a backpack would be full of galleons? But although it looked like a lot, it was actually only 250 gold galleons. 205. This number is really great. Xuan also figured out the direct ratio of galleons to gold. It is about 4 grams of gold for 1 galleon, so the 200 grams of gold bars that Xuan took out were exchanged for 50 gold galleons. As for why not open a vault at Gringotts Bank, I'm sorry, Xuan said that if you kill him, you don't open a vault at Gringotts Bank, which is the safest place in the magic world in England. It's all for putting money on your face, and it won't be long before the theft happens. And it will be troublesome for the thief to withdraw the money at that time, and you have to take the small car to the vault. It takes half an hour to complete all the procedures. Xuan is not willing, let alone the gold gallon saved to the gold curry will become the socket man's fortune by then. Let's go, we still have a lot of things to buy. Professor Flitwick said to Xuan. Xuan nodded and followed him to purchase other items. First, I went to Madame Malkin's robe store to buy the required uniforms, 3 sets of wizard robes, a wizard hat, a pair of protective gloves, and a winter cloak. The clothes are all made on the spot, so it takes a little time, which is why Professor Flitwick brought Xuan here first. Then go to Lihin Bookstore, which is a bookstore specially designed for Hogwarts to purchase textbooks. The 8 textbooks needed for the first grade cost Xuan dozens of galleons. Sure enough, books are expensive in any world. After all, knowledge is priceless, and it is also in line with La Wen Kira's purpose, knowledge first. In addition to these textbooks, Xuan also bought some other books, such as The Greatest Wizard in the 20th World, The Adventures of Mad Muggle Martin Miggs, and Magic Your Cheese. Xuan bought some useful and useless ones, dozens of books. Fortunately, Lihin Bookstore has a delivery service, and they will be sent to Hogwarts after school starts, otherwise Xuan can't carry them. There are other things to buy. Seeing that Xuan bought so many books, Professor Flitwick nodded in satisfaction. Which professor would not like such a studious little wizard? Immediately afterwards, the two of them went to the Wiseek Magic Supply Store to buy a crucible, a crystal vial, a telescope, and a brass balance. After buying these things, Xuan asked the other party to send them to Madame Majin's robe store together, and then they can go and get them together. Then the next step is to buy the last item, which is what Xuan is most looking forward to, the magic wand. Although I already have a magic wand in my hand, it is not tailor-made for me, but I am more looking forward to the most suitable for me. What kind of stick core and what material will it be? It's really exciting. Xuan followed Professor Flitwick to Ollivander's wand shop. even though it looked small and dilapidated compared to other shops in Diagon Alley and the sign on the door was peeled off. Xuan squinted to make out what was written. Ollivander, making excellent wands since 382 BC. It doesn't matter if the signboard is broken, this is the arms dealer in England's wizarding world. In Xuan's view, mastering the making of wands is like an arms dealer in the Muggle world. Looking outside the wand shop, one could only see a wand standing alone on a faded purple upholstery in the shop window. Xuan followed Professor Flitwick through the door and walked in. Ollivander's wand shop was very small, with no furniture except for a bench in the corner. Because only the window in front of the door was open, the whole shop looked very wizardly, as dark as the leaky cauldron. Other than that, the most shocking thing was the fact that thousands of long, narrow cardboard boxes containing wands were stacked from floor to ceiling. Maybe it's not easy to clean up when stacked like this. In fact, it is a cleansing spell, but maybe Ollivander wants to have a bit of historical background and precipitation. So there is a thin layer of dust everywhere. Coupled with the dim lighting and some worn-out furniture, it does give Xuan a sense of history. Hearing that the door was opened, Ollivander, who was arranging his wand inside, came out, with messy white hair and small eyes that made people feel very kind. Long time no see, Professor Flitwick, 11½ inches long black walnut dragon heartstring core. Long time no see, Mr. Ollivander, Professor Flitwick nodded with a smile. Your memory is as good as ever. Hearing Professor Flitwick's words, Ollivander said proudly, I will remember any wands sold in my place, including their owner. In this regard, neither Professor Flitwick nor Xuan has any doubts. After all, Ollivander has proved this sentence with his own behavior. However, Xuan thought about it with a bit of mischief. The entire English wizarding community only has a few thousand people, and it would not be difficult to remember it in decades. If it was changed to the Donghuang Kingdom in his previous life, 100,000, no, even just remove the word 10,000, 100,000, maybe Ollivander would not have said this sentence. Professor Flitwick was talking with Ollivander there, and Xuan noticed what Ollivander said just now about Professor Flitwick's wand. In the original movie, there is no talk about his wand. Xuan is also curious about the material of his wand. Like the Black Wizard's wand I got before, the core of the wand is made of dragon heartstrings, but the material of the wand is a little different. In fact, Xuan had guessed before that Professor Flitwick's wand should be made of the same material as the Black Wizard's wand. After all, this combination is also very suitable for him, but it turned out to be black walnut. However, Xuan recalled the information about black walnut, and he is not surprised. As mentioned earlier, aspen is very suitable for skilled or destined duelists, and it seems to be very suitable for the dual champion Professor Flitwick. But look no further than walnut, which is often chosen for a spell innovator or spell inventor. While black walnut is rarer than ordinary walnut, black walnut usually chooses an owner with keen intuition and strong insight. Black walnut wands are very beautiful to look at and have special gifts for all kinds of charms, but are not easy to handle. Doesn't that seem like a better fit for Professor Flitwick? Don't forget that he is also a master of charms, otherwise how can he be a professor of charms at Hogwarts? Although black walnut is still unable to regulate internal conflicts by itself, that is to say, it requires its owner to face his heart honestly. If his owner shows any self-deception, he will not be able to exert his due strength. But none of that matters to Professor Flitwick, does it? Is this a young wizard who is new to school this year? I think he must have a wand in his hand. After chatting for a few words, Ollivander naturally noticed Xuan standing behind Professor Flitwick, looking around curiously. After all, Professor Flitwick can't stop him, can't he? Yes, Mr. Ollivander, I think I need a wand. Every wizard has his own wand, and the fit between the two parties must be perfect. You must know that it is the wand that chooses the owner, and if a wizard encounters an inappropriate wand, the ability to perform magic will be greatly reduced. Xuan nodded in agreement. Just look at the red-haired friend of a certain savior, who hit the slug curse and ended up being hit by himself instead. Each wand is unique. The characteristics of the selected wood, the characteristics of the magical creature from which the core comes from, and the characteristics of its owner. Only when these 3 points are combined can the wand become a real wand and play its due role. The power of. Xuan understands this truth. Even to a certain extent, the wand is the wizard's closest partner. The two learn from each other and promote each other. A uniform description of the characteristics of each wood and core cannot represent all wands of this type. Even if the material of manufacture is the same, the experience of each wand is different. While speaking, Ollivander used a magic tape measure to measure Xuan's height, arm length, head circumference, and other data, which made Li Xuan feel unsure. Is the size of the head also one of the mate selection criteria for wands? Well, Li Xuan doesn't understand, so naturally he won't ask. After all, Ollivander is a professional in wands. After all, Ollivander has tens of thousands of wands here, and such measurements can reduce many unsuitable wands. Your dominant hand. Right hand. Okay, let me see which wand will choose you this time. Ollivander put away the tape measure, went to the mountain of wand boxes and took out one, and took out a light gray wand from it. Pine Dragon Heartstrings 13 inches. Li Xuan reached out to take the wand from Ollivander and waved it lightly, but nothing happened, indicating that the wand was not suitable for Li Xuan. Poplar, holly, hornbeam, redwood, walnut. Unicorn hair, phoenix feathers, dragon heartstrings, vela hair. In the next 10 minutes, Li Xuan tried almost dozens of wands, but he couldn't find a wand that fit him and his hands were almost tired. Not only was Ollivander not annoyed by such a picky little wizard, but he became even more interested. Finally, Ollivander took out a dusty box from the far corner and handed it to Li Xuan. Li Xuan opened it and saw that the magic wand inside was a little strange, because it didn't seem to be a magic wand but made of two kinds of wood, one black and one gold. Xuan really thought that this was not a magic wand but a toy wand. He had never seen such a wand before. But the two colors alternate, but they are surprisingly good-looking, completely different from the general gray or black wands. Picking up the wand, Li Xuan felt a different feeling as soon as he got it in his hand. As if the wand belonged to him, that perfect fit was a feeling that Li Xuan had never had before with so many wands. Li Xuan couldn't wait and waved the magic wand in his hand as he did dozens of times before. I saw sparks and arcs suddenly appearing from the tip of the black and gold wand, and at the same time there were wisps of tiny black air. Li Xuan could sense that he could control both electric arc and black air, so he had a plan in mind. I saw the electric arc and the black air gradually outline a picture of dark clouds and thunder in the air bit by bit in the astonishment of Professor Flitwick and Ollivander. The pitch-black dark clouds constantly tumbling, the middle of the sea appearing and disappearing, the arcs falling irregularly from the dark clouds and the burning sparks. This scene is enough to shock them. Perfect fit. Perfect handling. Professor Flitwick and Ollivander couldn't help applauding the scene in front of them, and they looked at Li Xuan with surprise in their eyes. With such detailed control over the magic power, I have to say that this little wizard is really shocking. It is hard to believe that this is a little wizard of Muggle origin. What Li Xuan and Ollivander didn't know was that they were not the only ones who saw this scene. There was also a curious little girl who was passing by the wand shop just now and saw this scene through the window. If it weren't for a wizard in a green robe and her parents telling her to hurry up, this delicate-looking little girl with fluffy brown hair couldn't help but stop and continue watching, and might even push the door and leave. Enter, somewhat reconciled, she hurriedly followed the pace of the elders, but before leaving, she remembered the appearance of the little wizard. If there is no accident, the other party must be a freshman who entered Hogwarts like herself. Will run into each other. She felt that she didn't notice the other party because of his appearance and temperament. The appearance and temperament of the ancient Oriental nobleman would be remembered in her mind and heart after a real glance. Mr. Ollivander, can you tell me about this wand? I feel that there are 5 kinds of power in it, which is not the case with ordinary wands, and the appearance is also different. Not only Li Xuan, but even Professor Flitwick looked over curiously. After all, he has lived for so many years, and it can be said that this is the first time he has seen such a strange wand. Seeing that Li Xuan and Professor Flitwick were looking at him, Ollivander looked at the wand in Li Xuan's hand, with a flash of memory in his eyes, and said, "This wand came across by chance when I was out and about when I was young." As Ollivander continued to talk, Li Xuan realized that the wand was made of acacia wood and yew wood. It was a tree that was half acacia and half yew. It was struck by lightning and brought back by Ollivander during a thunderstorm. You should know that 2 kinds of trees rarely appear together in nature. Even if there is, it fits together, or like vines, it should be said that they are entangled together like ropes. But of course it is unheard of and never seen a small tree like this one, which looks like acacia, and such a peculiar wood will naturally arouse the interest of Ollivander as a master of wands. If he is interested, he will naturally want to make it into a wand. So Ollivander brought back all the parts of the tree that were still usable after the lightning strike, and planned to use them to make wands. Aside from the strange sight of me and you and me, both acacia wood and yew wood are very rare woods, and it is not a loss to pick up such wood for free. It's just that this wood, just like its appearance, is very strange and unique. Ollivander wasted a lot of wood in the process before he realized that this other wood is not as unique as ordinary wands. The same stick core, but two kinds. Well, thinking of this, Ollivander's hands were itchy again, and he felt a bit stuck in the middle of the dead end. He only woke up when there was only one piece of wood left that could be used as a wand. I felt like I just thought of two kinds of stick core materials, so I just made it with my head depressed. Looking at the countless wasted wood on the ground, I just felt so heartbroken that I couldn't breathe. Naturally, this last one will not be used easily, and it must be foolproof. A flash of inspiration came from behind, thinking that this would survive the lightning strike, that is life and death. And acacia wood and yew wood are also life and death in another sense. Thinking about it in this way, then the Nirvana Phoenix, which symbolizes life, and the Thestrals, which can only be seen after death, came into Ollivander's eyes. Of course, I didn't do it right away as soon as I thought of it. Ollivander also made other combinations, but he couldn't find a better ratio than this one, so after making up his mind, he took the last wood to make it. Sure enough, one shot into the soul. Therefore, this unique wand, whether it is wood or the matching combination, can be said to be the pinnacle of Ollivander's production. Nothing makes Ollivander feel more fulfilled than this wand. Of course, the owner of the unique wand is also more picky, so it has been produced for decades, but still no suitable owner has been found. Originally, Ollivander gave up, thinking that he would not be able to see the owner of this wand in his lifetime, but he did not expect to be able to. If it wasn't for Xuan's pickiness just now, he wouldn't even think of this wand. After all, to be able to control such a wand, Ollivander felt that there might not be one in the world. Take a look at the materials used, and then I will introduce them to you. The wand made of acacia will refuse to serve people other than its owner, and it will only fully show its performance for the most talented people. This particularity makes it difficult for the acacia wand to adapt to most people. Its owner needs sufficiently detailed, sharp, and powerful. See, acacia wood itself is a fastidious material, and there are not many that can meet the conditions. The rest of the yew wand, which grants the wielder power over life and death, retains a particularly dark and dire reputation in dueling and in all areas of curses. Look, doesn't this wood have a dark, wizard-only feel to it? The phoenix feather is the rarest type of wand core material. The phoenix feather core wand has the widest coverage when casting magic, but it takes longer to cast than unicorn hair and dragon heartstrings. This type of wand has a strong initiative, and not all wizards like it. The Phoenix Feather Wand is the most picky when choosing an owner, because the phoenix itself is a rare creature in the world, and this type of wand is the most difficult to tame. Let's look at the Thistral tail hair again. The Thistral tail hair is a strange substance. Currently, only the Elder Wand has used this material as the palm. Legend has it that only wizards who can control death can control it. Well, take a look which of these materials is not picky about the owner. This is no longer a problem of 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. To some extent, it can be infinite. If you want to find a wizard who meets the standards of 4 materials at the same time, it is almost impossible. Having experienced life and death and still alive, he is strong and talented and can be recognized by Phoenix. In this way, there is really no one except Xuan. He is a perfect fit for these conditions. Without him, the wand can only be said to be left in the corner. Traveling through life and death, it can be said to be reborn. With the help of the Xiantian 5 Elements Pagoda, it is very powerful even though it has not yet entered school. With the help of the Beast Spirit Bead, and being naturally friendly with animals, it is not difficult to get anything from Phoenix. It can be said that such a magic wand is specially prepared for Xuan, an exclusive magic wand. If it is placed in the game, it can be said that the legendary exclusive equipment +1. As for Xuan's current wand, the Old Wand, one of the 3 Hallows of Death, Xuan didn't plan to change it. After all, such a perfectly fitted wand can be said to be the only one in the world. The wand is no worse than the Elder Wand, maybe even stronger. From the scene where Xuan used the wand just now, we can know that this wand not only has the power of life and death, but also the power of fire and lightning. The flame of life and death is easy to understand, but the extra power of thunder and lightning is left over from that lightning strike. So this wand can also have the power of thunder and lightning, making it even more incredible. Reincarnations. In the end, Xuan named this wand this, which represents the power of life and death. Only these 2 words can explain that everything is a bit arrogant, but no one cares about him in this world. Xuan didn't say anything and no one understood. It's just that after Xuan made a decision, the magic wand in his hand trembled a little as if he agreed with the name very much, but Xuan didn't pay attention to it, so he didn't notice it. At home, Xuan was sitting on the sofa, beside the snow-white owl he bought, which should be called Xuxiao, was standing there obediently combing his hair. Xuan's snow owl is a bit like Harry Potter's Hathaway, but it is also a little different. Harry Potter's Hathaway has a little black spots on her body, but Xuan's snow owl has snow-white feathers all over its body like a snow elf. Xuan also likes it very much, but he didn't choose a name because he doesn't plan to name his own animals for the time being. After all, if there are no accidents, there will be many magical animals in his future. It's not a small problem to name them all. As for being able to mix things up, Xuan probably won't either. Don't doubt a child who wants to become a master of fantastic beasts. I am familiar with Get Out of the Way. Stand up and come on, a Pokémon with 3 great skills. Master of fantastic beasts. After leaving Ollivander's wand shop that day, Xuan and Professor Flitwick went to the somewhat dark Yellow Owl shop to buy this rare pure white snow owl and some owl food, and then went to Madame Malkin's robe shop to get it the uniform went home. After all, freshmen can bring an owl, a cat, or a toad. Compared with cats and toads, Xuan thinks he likes such a snowy owl more. As for another rule, first-year students are not allowed to bring their own broomsticks, and Xuan himself doesn't like Quidditch very much. After all, there is not much fairness in the rules. Plus, it is very heroic without that kind of competitive spirit, so Xuan doesn't like it very much, mainly because he is past the age of being pushy. Wouldn't it be nice to have more time to get into your own little world and take care of it? I can clearly feel the feeling of increasing strength, and the small world is getting better little by little under my own transformation. That sense of accomplishment really makes Xuan, who has the attributes of a hamster, very obsessed. Xuan couldn't help smiling when he saw the wand reincarnation in his right hand and the aspen wand in his left. Originally, I thought that my wand would be made of chestnut wood, but I didn't expect that the 2 wands on hand had nothing to do with chestnut wood at all. As for why Xuan thinks Li Mu is Li Mu, just read Li Mu's description. The characteristics of chestnut wood itself are like a piece of white paper with almost no tendency. According to the difference of the wand core, the characteristics of chestnut wood wands are also different, the personality of the owner is different, and the color of the wand is also different. Chestnut wands are usually chosen for experienced trainers of magical creatures, wizards with herbalism, or skilled flyers. Let's see, do you think there is nothing wrong with Xuan's idea? A trainer with rich experience in the domestication of magical creatures, Xuan should at least have something to do with it. Just by reading this introduction, one can actually understand that the wand made of chestnut wood not only fits Xuan, but also fits Neville and Harry Potter. After all, one would become Hogwarts professor of herbalism, and one would be the youngest seeker Gryffindor had ever seen. But as I said before, the description of the unity of each wood cannot represent all wands of this type, so even if it seems to be very suitable, it may not be his good match in reality. Let's go, Zio, it's time for us to enter the small world. Xuan smiled and said to Zio, putting away the 2 wands. Xuan took Zio's figure in a flash and directly entered the small world. Xuan, who entered the small world, looked at the lush and vibrant scene in front of him and smiled happily. Cuckoo. As for Zio, this is not the first time he has entered the small world. Once he entered, he spread his wings and let himself go. Xuan didn't care about it, just let it play, here it can soar freely. You must know that in this year, the small world has expanded to 100 square kilometers, which has expanded 10 times. In Xuan's input, regardless of consumption, countless plants, seeds, and various creatures were put into the small world. Xuan brought in all the things that fly in the sky, those that run on the ground, and those that swim in the water. Biodiversification formed a complete biological chain, and the small world was able to expand tenfold in such a short year. In the future, it may not continue such a rapid growth rate. After all, the ecology of Xuan's small world has been perfected by Xuan. Even from the very beginning, in order to meet various needs in the future, Xuan built a small active volcano at the southernmost tip of the small world, and a super large iceberg at the northernmost tip. Don't ask how it was done, it took a lot of innate spiritual liquid to change the world. Fortunately, after the transformation, Xuan doesn't need to care too much. He usually only uses some spiritual liquid converted from the 5-element spirit formation to maintain it, and it won't take much for a year. Otherwise, even with Xuan's family background, he couldn't help being so anxious. Building a small world couldn't be so simple. However, if there is a temperature difference in the small world, then wind will form and there will be rain. The weather system is at least simply messed up by Xuan. On the side close to the iceberg, Xuan also built a super large lake, saying that the ocean would definitely not work, and with such a small area, it could only fit the entire lake. The water source of the whole small world is diverted from this lake. Xuan slightly raised the terrain in the north, so the water can flow from north to south. The more southward the climate, the hotter the climate, and the more the water vapor evaporates. During the alternation of cold and hot air, when the hot air flows northward, it condenses into water droplets and falls. It barely formed a simple water cycle. Anyway, Xuan just adjusted it a little bit. Even if it didn't work, wouldn't he be there? With his ability to change the world in the small world, this is nothing, just change it if it doesn't work. In the small world, Xuan also built a house for himself, which is similar to No. 8 Privet Drive outside, but it is just an enlarged version. By the way, since we talked about the construction of the small world earlier, let's talk about the structure of the small world. From north to south, it is roughly icebergs, lakes, forests, grasslands, and volcanoes. And Xuan's villa is built near the dividing line between the lake and the forest, so it can be called a real lakeview house. When Xuan was about to enter his villa, several creatures that looked like snakes and birds flew over in the air. Seeing them, Xuan stopped with a smile. These big blue and green guys are the first magical animal in Xuan's small world, the bird and snake. The 5 birds and snakes in front of him were harvested by Xuan from the bag of the black wizard Ronkeluo. The eggs of bird snakes are made of the purest, soft-mouthed silver, so their eggs will be coveted by greedy wizards, so it is very normal to harvest eggs of bird snakes here. These 5 little guys can be said to dominate the small world, and no one cares about them if there are any natural enemies. They are all ordinary creatures here. What kind of cows, sheep, pigs, birds, etc.? If the birds and snakes don't eat these things, there may not be enough for them to eat. Looking at the thing that landed towards me, it has wings, 2 legs, and a bird's head, but it has a slim and slender body like a snake, and the whole body is covered with feathers, which is why it is called a bird snake. Reason? Anyway, Xuan also discovered that in the world of Hogwarts, especially the magical animals in the Western world, many of them are a mixture of several kinds of animals. It should be said that they were all created by the hybridization of those wizards in the past. This bird and snake is the most classic, and isn't it the same with the basilisk that ravaged Hogwarts 2 years later? The black wizard called Helbo the Despicable hatched the eggs under the body of the toad and got the basilisk. Look, typical example, Ugh. From afar I saw Xuan's birds and snakes screaming happily. The body, which was originally more than 10 meters long, was the size of a bucket. When it got close to Xuan, its body gradually became smaller and finally became a body only 20 to 30 centimeters long. Little snake. There is no way with that body type just now, Xuan can't stop it even if it comes over with one, and it is said to be 5. It is best to keep this miniature shape, that is, the appearance of a newborn. That is to say, here in Xuan, he was able to grow so strong just 1 year after he was born. First, the environment here is good, not to say that the mountains and rivers are beautiful, but the aura is abundant, otherwise these little guys would not be so smart. The second is that there is enough food. Generally speaking, birds and snakes feed on mice and birds, but Xuan thinks that mice have too many bacteria and are dirty. Even Xuan, the bamboo rat and mountain rat, I like it, so I didn't make it into the small world. The main reason is that there are no corresponding predators here. For this kind of creature that is easy to flood, Xuan still has considerations. But there were no mice, so Xuan introduced rabbits. Rabbits, like mice, are very capable of giving birth. However, Xuan introduced rabbit predators. Although there are not many predators, they are enough to control the number of rabbits. For example, wolves, foxes, and even tigers have been adjusted. And these birds and snakes are also taught by Xuan to prey on rabbits, if wolves and foxes can only catch rabbits on the ground. The bird and snake can be said to have directly taken over the house. Don't forget what the bird and snake's ability is. It can stretch and shrink at will. It can become bigger or smaller, and it can shrink or expand according to the space it is in. Tigers and wolves can't get into rabbit holes, but it's not a problem for birds and snakes at all. If it weren't for the larger size of the rabbits living in the small world, and the plants they eat have absorbed some aura, they are not bad, they contain a lot of energy. And the birds and snakes can last for several days after eating. Maybe it is really easy to be eaten. But it doesn't matter. Besides rabbits, Xuan also raises pheasants and other animals. Under Xuan's teaching, these birds and snakes are not taboo and not picky eaters. Worry. Xuan also had a plan in mind. If the magical creature he obtained later was a big eater, it would not be difficult for Xuan to stock more other fast-growing animals. If it weren't for the slow speed of the birds and snakes after entering the water, the countless fish and shrimps in the lake would be enough for them to eat. Ha ha ha, you little guys are still so clingy. 5 birds and snakes flapped their wings and landed on the body, 2 on the left and right shoulders, and 1 hanging around the neck. It was noisy to shout together there, but seeing how clingy they were, one knew they were expressing their joy and joy. Miss. With a few birds and snakes, Xuan walked into the villa. There are many rooms in the villa, and Xuan even left one for them. Xuan has their nests and containers of various sizes. Anyway, these little babies like to hide here and there. Ask for monthly tickets for flower evaluation. Everyone, the better the data, the more updates you will have. There is still some time before school starts. And our Harry Potter is still fighting his Uncle Dursley. He hasn't moved yet, but it looks like it will be soon. As for why Xuan paid so much attention to their whereabouts, it was not out of curiosity, nor out of malicious interest in watching a play, nor was it in order to calculate the start time of school, but had his own plan. As for what the plan is, the time has not yet come. On this day, Xuan came to the Leaky Cauldron again. This time, his purpose of coming to Diagon Alley was, of course, to scout spots and exchange for galleons to make big purchases at the Fantastic Beasts store. After all, the last time Professor Flitwick was there, Xuan couldn't do it so recklessly. After all, what was a muggle-born wizard apprentice doing after buying so many magical animals? Could it be that you want to torture or dissect it for research? The small world can be said to be Xuan's biggest secret, and he will not reveal it, so even if it will cause a lot of trouble, Xuan is willing to leave no traces. As for how to prevent others from recognizing Xuan, don't forget that Xuan can borrow the power of the magical animals in the small world. What is the ability of the bird and snake? It can be stretched and stretched arbitrarily, and the size is as you wish, and you can change the size of your body according to your own ideas. Therefore, Xuan, who can borrow the ability of the bird and snake, can naturally disguise himself as an adult wizard. Once wearing a black robe, a hood, and a mask inside, who can recognize himself. The whole body is tightly wrapped, and even the hands are covered with gloves. The gloves are very stretchable and will not expose the wrists when moving. After all, there are quite a few young protagonists who have been recognized because of their hands and wrists. Don't think that Xuan's outfit is very conspicuous. It can only be said that it is not the mainstream in the wizarding world, but it is not very rare. Last time when Xuan and Professor Flitwick were shopping in Diagon Alley, he saw many people dressed like this. At that time, he also asked Professor Flitwick. The answer I got was to try not to get close to wizards dressed like this, because such wizards were either wizards wandering in the black and gray area or werewolf wizards, or had eccentric personalities that they didn't want to be seen by others. Anyway, in the idealistic world of wizards, there are all kinds of people. So Xuan wasn't afraid that he would attract attention by dressing like this. On the contrary, this kind of dress could invisibly avoid many troubles for Xuan, because in the eyes of ordinary wizards, wearing like this undoubtedly meant trouble. Xuan's magic wand reincarnation is so conspicuous and unique, so naturally he won't show it, otherwise what's the point of these camouflages? Naturally, he used the aspen stick. Originally, the wizard from La Wen Kelluo was a black wizard, so Xuan could use his vest to disguise himself for a while. As for the later stage, when Xuan's strength improves, even if you don't need to pretend, what can you do to me? Of course, Xuan is not such a person. The moderation engraved in our souls of Donghuang people is destined to prevent us from becoming the most beautiful boy in the crowd. But our endless background will become the most mysterious and unprovoked existence in people's eyes. As for why we say this, we can understand it in one sentence. Install one generation, reserve one generation, produce one generation, research one generation, and project one generation. Look at this sentence and you will understand. You think this is my highest level, but in fact I can make another version 2.0. You think 2.0 is already the pinnacle, but 3.0 is already in production, 4.0 is about to be completed, and 5.0 is already being approved. Unexpectedly, if you want to completely surpass it all at once, then you have to evolve 5 times directly so that you can completely suppress it, but do you have such a skill? Besides, how do you know that 5.0 is the ultimate, and there will be no 6.0, 7.0, or even 10.0? Like Xuan, he also plans to divide his own strength into different levels. He only uses his own ability, that is, his wand and the spells he has learned are 1.0. And borrowing the power of magical animals is 2.0, and using the Beast Spirit Bead and the innate 5 elements pagoda is 3.0. As for whether it will be divided into 4.0 and 5.0 in the future, I don't know for the time being, but it is very possible. For example, borrowing from Fantastic Beasts can actually divide more than 2 levels. After all, Fantastic Beasts are weak and strong, and Xuan only has birds and snakes in his hands now. Even if he goes to the Fantastic Beasts store for a while to make a big purchase, he doesn't have to think about it. He can sell them all and it's still in Diagon Alley. If it's not Nocturne Alley, it means that the strength is not too strong, so let's make a general division for the time being. I exchanged 5,000 galleons from Gringotts at one time, which was enough for Li Xuan to spend this time. Putting it all into a bag cast with the untraceable stretching charm, he once again rejected the goblin's suggestion to open a vault at Gringotts. Dogs don't open vaults in Gringotts. What's the safest? Just smile. By the way, don't be afraid that Li Xuan won't be able to handle the 5,000 galleons. Regarding the untraceable stretching curse, there is a time limit for beginners to cast it on items. At the same time, the area will not be too large and the weight will not be eliminated. That is to say, the total weight of the items you put in is as much as you hold. Do you feel a little tasteless? Maybe it is because you can't hold so many things that you need the help of the untraceable stretching curse, but you said that there is no way to eliminate it, so what's the use of you? But as mentioned earlier, the power of a spell is not only related to the amount of magic power, but also related to the wizard. To be precise, it has to do with the wizard's understanding of the spell and his proficiency. It's like a cutting curse, which in Ron's hands can only cut thread ends and sleeves, but in the hands of the black wizard who attacked Li Xuan, it is a sharp weapon for killing people. It was also mentioned just now that it is a beginner. After mastering it proficiently, it can be kept permanently, and the area can be expanded by at least 10 times, but the weight can only be reduced by half and the other half cannot be helped. If you want to achieve the level of storage bags and storage rings in the novel, you must be proficient in this spell. Like the bag in Li Xuan's hand, although the space is not particularly large, it has reached the level of proficiency in the untraceable stretching mantra. In fact, Li Xuan can also use the bag of the untraceable stretch curse to cover up, and put it directly in the small world's warehouse. Curry, nothing is safer than there. It's just that I still need to use it when I go to the Fantastic Beasts store, so I don't bother to go back and forth like this. When I came to the Fantastic Beasts store, Li Xuan took a look. Sure enough, the magical animals sold here are basically magical animals with danger level XXX and below. As for the danger levels XXXX and XXXXX, they don't exist at all. By the way, there is an explanation in Newt Scamander's Fantastic Beasts and where to find them about this danger level division. XXXXX animals known to kill wizards impossible to domesticate or tame, XXXXX dangerous requiring specialized knowledge skilled wizards to deal with. XXX capable wizards to deal with, XX harmless/tameable, X annoying. The dangerous level of the bird snake obtained by Li Xuan is XXXX. I didn't expect it, but think about it, if the bird snake grows unscrupulously, it can indeed reach this level given their size. The entire Fantastic Beasts store was very crowded, and the walls were so densely hung with cages that it was impossible to count them. There are many animals sold in the store, but basically there are many kinds of pets. For example, poisonous orange snails, big turtles studded with jewels on their shells, glossy black mice, cats of various colors, velvet, owls, and so on. Li Xuan took a look and rounded up the billywigs, bowtruckles, and 4 little sniffles in the store and bought dozens of purongrongs. As for why the pudding is not round, the main reason is that there are too many puddings here, and the purchase of new students is the peak season for business. And small creatures like puddings are the best sellers. So there are almost 100 of them in the Fantastic Beasts store. Li Xuan doesn't need so much cattail. Although it's not bad for money, it can't be made like this. Besides, even if I finished buying it myself, the happiest thing would be the store owner who can still buy more. Puffs are not other rare magical animals. There are as many of these small creatures as there are. In addition to the 4 magical animals mentioned above, Li Xuan also discovered that there was actually a pair of witchbirds for sale in the magical animal shop. One was pink and the other was lime green, and Li Xuan's collection addiction came up. You must know that it is not that simple to see the witchbird here in Diagon Alley. After all, the place of origin of the witchbird is Africa. But when Li Xuan wanted to buy the pair of rogue birds, he was asked if he had a crocodile breeding license. Only then did Li Xuan recall that the witchbird's cry is extremely high and can make those who hear it lose their minds. Therefore, the witchbird can only be sold after casting the silence curse and every month, but also need to strengthen the silent spell. Therefore, in order to prevent the sound of the witchbird from causing trouble, the Ministry of Magic stipulated that wizards must obtain a license to raise the witchbird. After all, this kind of bird must be taken seriously. Like a wizard with a hippogriff, the hippogriff must be cast with the disillusionment charm by Ministry of Magic law once to distract muggles who might see it, and must be cast on a daily basis. Of course, Li Xuan doesn't have the vampire's license anymore, and he doesn't even master the silent spell, so he can only temporarily say goodbye to the vampire. As for why it was said to be temporary, it was naturally because Li Xuan gave the other party a very friendly price, and asked the other party to keep the pair of wicked birds for himself. Seeing Li Xuan's generous spending, and this time's big order, The store owner has nothing to do, even if Xuan doesn't say that he still plans to get in touch with Xuan more. Such a super big client must have a good relationship. Who would have trouble with Jin Jialong? Looking at the other party like this, the magical animals in front of him seemed not enough to satisfy his appetite. Who doesn't like a guest like this? Since the store owner has been so obvious, and the other party has been in the business of magical animals for so many years, the channel must be better than his own. So Xuan placed a lot of orders and paid a deposit in advance so that the smile on the other party's face was bright. A few points. In the end, Xuan left with the magical animal he bought and was sent off by the shop owner. This time, the purpose of coming has been achieved. The so-called big bags and small bags were all collected in the small world after Xuan turned around and entered an empty alley. He didn't intend to just go home with dozens of magical animals. That's like a firefly in the dark, very obvious. Xuan even went around Diagon Alley a few more times but found that no one was following him, and after leaving Diagon Alley, he directly used Apparition to return to No. 8 Privet Drive. After dragging off all the camouflage on his body and then restoring his body shape, I have to say that the ability of the bird and snake is really useful. Xuan even used it locally. After all, he is definitely not the only one who has this idea. It's like a survey of superhero abilities in previous lives. Do you want the speed of the Flash or the controllable ability of Ant-Man to grow and shrink? I won't say much about the result in everyone's thoughts. After all, the god of crabs is elusive, so don't dare to provoke them. Let's take a look at the magical animals harvested today. Entering the small world, billywig bugs and bowtruckles are all placed in the villa built by Xuan. Now the 5 birds and snakes are constantly walking around and looking at them curiously. With Xuan's teaching, they will not harm these magical animals indiscriminately. Especially when they are still trapped in cages, the birds and snakes are mainly afraid that these little guys will come out and scurry around and destroy them. Seeing Xuan coming in, the 5 birds and snakes flapped their wings and lay on Xuan's body in the usual way. You and I took credit for Xuan, proving that he was not there. They took good care of the bowtruckle and the others. You guys did a great job. I'll cook grilled fish for you in a while. Xuan touched the head of each bird and snake one by one. That is Xuan. If it were someone else, let alone touch them, they would have bitten them off with their hands. Maybe it's always in turmoil. Because there was no way to go down to the lake to catch fish, when Xuan caught fish himself and grilled it, the birds and snakes were also curious and wanted to eat it. As a result, I was overwhelmed by the smell of grilled fish, not the kind with a lot of grilled ingredients, but the purest grilled fish. This kind of grilled fish is the most suitable for their taste, and Xuan will take this as a reward later. Although it doesn't matter if there are these birds and snakes guarding them. After all, firstly, there are cages, and secondly, Xuan has also set up restrictions in some places, and he cannot enter without his permission. Just like the innate 5 elements spiritual liquid pool and the 5 elements gathering array, Xuan simply hid them directly so that no one could see or touch them, thus solving the problem from the root. Avoid wasting the innate 5 element psychic liquid and destroying the 5 element spirit gathering array. Xuan released the largest number of cattails from the cage first. These small animals with a danger level of XX can be seen all over the world. With a body shaped like a small ball and covered with creamy yellow soft fur all over the body, these docile little guys are very clingy and not afraid of people at all. Their docile nature has made them beloved by generations of wizarding children, and they remain popular pets among wizards. Some of them even crawled on Xuan playfully. They didn't respond particularly to being hugged and thrown by people. These little guys are also very easy to take care of. When they are satisfied with taking care of them, they will hum a little tune that humans can't understand. From time to time, a very slender pink tongue will emerge from the middle of its body, stretching out and spitting around the room like a snake looking for food. Pundits are scavengers that eat everything from leftovers to spiders. It especially likes sticking its tongue up into the noses of sleeping wizards and eating their dried boogers. But Xuan doesn't like this point. Xuan can talk about other things here, but he must strictly abide by this point about hygiene. Therefore, this habit of the cattail must be changed, and it is not allowed to eat rotten food. I don't have many other things here, but I will eat a lot. I'm not afraid that Xuan will not be able to teach these cattails and feel that there is no way to communicate. With the existence of the beast Lingzhu, it is not a problem at all. He ordered the dozens of them to stand neatly in front of him, as if they were in a queue. Xuan told them his rules and let them disband. After seeing these little guys, the happiest thing was not Xuan, but the 5 birds and snakes. After all, for them, it was equivalent to having so many partners all at once. The animals living in the small world are all food for them. Only in this way are the same magical animals, and those with human nature can be partners. Xuan also gave an order not to allow the magical animals to harm and prey on each other. Some daring cats even climbed onto the back of a bird and snake, allowing the other party to take them flying in the sky. Xuan didn't care about these little guys, just let them make a fuss. These velvets are meant to be kept as pets. Looking at the remaining magical animals, Xuan decided to release the 4 little Nifflers first. These 4 little snuffers were all different colors, not the same as Newt Scamander's solid black one. These 4 are always black, one is yellow, one is pure black but has a little white hair on its neck, and the last one is dark green all over but also has a little white hair on its neck. These 4 little guys are restless even if they are locked in a cage. They are playing and playing there. It should be said that they are playing the game of stacking our hats there. But the dark green Zixu and black Zixu at the bottom are not so happy. You little fellows, come out. Xuan opened the cage, and the 4 little snuffers saw that the cage was opened, and they didn't care about playing around anymore. With short legs, they ran quickly out of the cage. As soon as I came out, I was shocked by the decoration in the room. Perhaps it should feel like I have entered a treasure house. All kinds of shiny things exude a strong temptation to them, and when they are about to move their short legs towards the treasure, they realize that they can't move, and they can't help crying anxiously. Looking at these 4 little guys, Xuan smiled helplessly. It's no wonder that this kind of little thing makes people love and hate. Naturally, the love is because these little guys have the function of searching for treasures. The gold coin is dedicated to the master, and it is given to the master with his mouth. This animal is covered with slender black fur and has a mouth like a platypus. It looks like a plush doll. It likes everything that shines. It loves to run away and collect all buling items such as diamonds, jewelry, gold coins, and more. There is a storage space in their stomachs, which can store the treasures they find, but if they scratch their stomachs upside down, the things in their stomachs will fall out. Nixiu, who was given the nickname the boy who makes money, has become the #1 pet that many people dream of. He is released during the day and caught at night. If he scratches his belly, he can make a fortune while lying down. Even goblins often keep Nifflers to dig for treasure deep underground. This kind of greedy and fond of collecting treasures doesn't care about their age. Just look at these 4 anxious little guys. Although Zixu has a gentle personality and even treats you tenderly, its greedy temper will not be restrained just because you are its owner. So if you keep it at home, your treasures will definitely disappear inexplicably. But if you can't see it, you can definitely find one by looking for Zixu, and sometimes you can even get extra gains. When Xuan saw Zixu in his previous life, he thought that it would be great if he had such a Zixu. At that time, I don't have to be a hard-working worker. I just need to go out with Zixu for a walk every day, and when I come back, I can lie down and make money. Don't think too much. This lying down is not what you think, but you can get the treasure that Zixu brought to you while lying down. This is what is called the realization of real freedom of wealth. What is the soul of migrant workers? Migrant workers are all superior to others, which paralyzes themselves. 996007. As long as you work hard enough, the boss will drive a Ferrari. As long as you work harder, the boss will be able to live the life he wants as soon as possible. This is the true portrayal. The front is nothing but self-paralysis. Xuan didn't expect that he could have not only 1, but even 4 in time travel. This time, it's not just double the happiness, but double the double. But in this world, even if he didn't sniff them, Xuan wouldn't be short of wealth, but who doesn't like free money? Right. Stand up, Xuan said to the 4 little guys who were fixed. You can't take or move things around the house, do you hear me? The little snuffers looked at the treasure at home and nodded a little disappointed. After all, they would definitely listen to Xuan's words. After all, they are their own masters. The moment they enter the small world again, they will recognize the master. Seeing the little sniffers like this, Xuan smiled and of course gave a carrot to comfort him. In order to compensate you, I decided to give you 100 gold galleons as compensation. The nest over there belongs to you, so digging around in the house is not allowed. When the little sniffers heard this expression of disappointment, they immediately dissipated and changed into an expression that seemed to have won a super prize, 100 gold galleons. Xuan went on to say, because generally snuffers dig a nest for themselves 20 feet underground. As for habits and so on, these little guys are still young, like birds and snakes. They can be cultivated from an early age, so naturally there is no such problem. Crack la la la. The sound of Xuan taking out 100 gold galleons and falling to the ground immediately opened the eyes of the 4 little snuffers. Xuan let go of the restriction on them and immediately ran into the pile of gold galleons and rolled around. Afterwards, he began to want to stuff the galleons into the storage space in his stomach. But now that they are so small, a gold galleon is 1/3 the size of them. How could they fit in? But it doesn't matter, the sniffing carrying team reports for duty. Each of the 4 snuffers ran towards the lair that Xuan pointed out to them with a gold galleon in their platypus-like mouths. These nests were prepared by Xuan a few days ago, because he knew that there would definitely be new magical animals coming to the Fantastic Beasts store, so he prepared nests for these cuties in advance. As for these little snuffers carrying the galleons, Xuan didn't intend to lend a helping hand. The money-greedy nature of these little guys wouldn't let others intervene. Look over there are curious Purongrongs who want to go over there to have a look, but they are chased away by the little snuffers. The puddings who are making fun of themselves think that the blue and green birds and snakes are more friendly. They all ran over. Seeing that no one was bothering them, the little sniffers continued to carry the galleon. Xuan intentionally placed Jinjai along here instead of directly putting them in their dens. In the eyes of others, the little snuffers were very hardworking and tired. But how do you know that this is not a process that the other party is enjoying? The child is not a fish and knows the joy of fish. Anyway, Xuan could feel the emotions of the little sniffers and knew that their current emotions were joyful. This kind of harvested happiness was stronger than finding this pile of gold galleons directly in the nest. Ignore these little guys, it seems that their handling work will take a long time. If puddings and sniffles are meant to be kept as pets, Xuan bought Billywigs and Bowtruckles as tool pets. Bowtruckles can sometimes work as part-time pets, but Billywigs with a danger level of XXX are purely tool pets. About half an inch, 1.3 centimeters long, blue with a bright sapphire sheen, it's an insect native to Australia and Asia. Billywig's wings grow on both sides of the top of the head and the flapping speed is very fast. When it flies, its body will rotate. Because of its agility, muggles seldom pay attention to it, and wizards don't see it very often unless stung by it. The 5 times of the billywig is the slender, stinging needle on the body. Anyone who is stung by the billywig will feel dizzy and then float up. Even generations of young wizards in Australia and Asia are trying their best to catch billywig bugs, catching them just to let billywig bugs sting themselves. Unexpectedly, their purpose is to obtain this kind of incidental floating effect. But if you are overly stung by billywigs, congratulations, you will be floating in the air uncontrollably for the next few days, becoming the most beautiful cub. This is not the most frightening thing. The most frightening thing is that once there is a severe allergic reaction, it will be followed by permanent wandering. That is to say, you will be a floating person in the future, living in midair. You have to tie a rope to your feet like a hot air balloon, otherwise when a gust of wind blows over, you will be blown away directly. Dried billywig stingers are used in a variety of potions, and the stinger is even thought to be the ingredient in the popular candy Fizzy Bees. As for whether it is true or not, a little wizard asked Ambuluoziu Froom, the boss of Honeydukes, and the answer he got was, "An excellent little wizard will find out the answer by himself." Then under the flicker of Ambuluoziu, in the name of research, he spent a lot of galleons to buy a bunch of sizzling bee candies. It has to be said that this is a shrewd businessman. By the way, Zizzy Honey is a sherbet ball that makes people float into the air, so it's no surprise that people have speculated about it. The ability of the billywig can sometimes have unexpected effects, which is why Xuan bought a lot of them, of course not to crack the secret recipe of the sizzling bees. Xuan bought a lot of billywigs and let them live with them in the small world, and he was not afraid that they would buy them again if they couldn't reproduce. Finally, there are those Bowtruckles. Time was slowly passing by like this bit by bit, and the Dursley family had moved away for a while. If nothing else happened, Xuan reckoned that the time when Hagrid went to pick up Harry Potter should be the nearest, which means that these 2 days are the days when Gringotts was stolen. Of course, whether the theft is real or fake, fact or a play, only those involved will understand. After all, this is the real world, not a children's book written by Miss J.K. Visit today. While Xuan was thinking, he suddenly received a message from that wizard. It turned out that Hagrid had just taken Harry Potter to Diagon Alley. Xuan looked at the calendar, August 29th, 3 days before the start of school, a little earlier than the original timeline. But it doesn't matter, the butterfly effect is no stranger to Xuan, a butterfly. Fortunately, I had prepared for it long ago, knowing that from the moment I came into this world, many things began to slowly change. And as time goes on, more and more parts will change, so you can barely rely on the plot profit at the beginning. But if you want to rely on the familiar plot to eat the world in the middle and late stages, then you can only say that you are definitely the one who gets eaten. Since tonight is the time for the stolen magician in Gringotts, it's time for him to start preparing. Xuan got up, went into the small world to prepare some things, changed his shape, and went to the leaky cauldron to book a room. Open the door, the dim light can't illuminate the whole room at all, although it looks very dark, but at least there is no peculiar smell. But it's normal when you think about it, there is a cleaning spell, the room can be dirty and messy, so it can't be justified, right? And the price is not cheap like this room that Xuan booked. It costs 16 silver sickles for 2 days, 8 silver sickles a day, which is almost a gold galleon. As for why I booked for 2 days, after all, wouldn't it be over tonight? That's because Xuan still wants to eat melons from the sidelines and see what will happen in the future. Information is very important to Xuan. The so-called rebirth, the so-called time travel, actually rely on advanced information to develop himself. Xuan has no development informants in the magic world, and no one specially collects information for him, so he can only come by himself. As for the room at the leaky cauldron, Xuan was just looking for the nearest place to stay, and he wouldn't live here at night. A small, dark room with nothing but a boat, a table, a chair, and a wardrobe. Compared with the Lakeview villas in the small world, this kind of living conditions is completely different. Why don't you have to suffer if there are good places? I looked at the time, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, there is still time. Xuan enters the small world to take a nap, and I will stay up late tonight, so I need to recharge my batteries. This time Xuan slept very comfortably and solved the problem of dinner in the small world. What's for dinner? Of course it was grilled fish. Xuan, who rarely came in to start a fire in the small world, was naturally pestered by birds and snakes to make him fulfill the promise of grilled fish he said earlier. Not only the birds and snakes, but also the little snuffers and the plush fluffs are all clamoring beside Xuan to eat together. Because during this period of time, they got along with the birds and snakes, and they were deliciously grilled by the birds and snakes more than once. But it is a pity that no matter whether it is a bird, a snake, a smell, or a cattail, none of them have the ability to go into the water to catch fish. In addition, even if they catch the fish, they don't know how to grill it, let alone how to match the seasoning, so they can only rely on Xuan if they want to eat it. Naturally, Xuan would not refuse, even if there were more Xioxiuxiu and Pundangrong, it was just a matter of grilling a few more fish. With the size of the little snuffers, 2 snuffers can eat one, not to mention the P******s, don't look too small. But basically, the body is supported by the creamy yellow soft fur, and the real body is at most similar to a table tennis ball. In the end, Xuan didn't expect that there were so many puddings that he couldn't finish eating 3 grilled fish. There was no way, and there were not many small snacks. But they also tasted the grilled fish that the birds and snakes are thinking about, and the taste is really good. No wonder the birds and snakes have been talking about this, and they like it too. Not to mention that Xixiu and Purongrong don't eat grilled fish. Xixiu is an omnivorous animal, and Purongrong usually eats leftovers in wizard families. Leftovers can be eaten, so of course normal meals can also be eaten. As for the Billywigs and Bowtruckles, the former didn't know where to go unless Xuan specially summoned them. As for the Bowtruckles, they are distributed all over the world. It can be said that they are scattered all over the small world, and it is hard to find a place to stay. It seems so cruel to let them run back and back with short legs. In addition, they don't eat grilled fish, so there is no need to call them back. At night, after most of the shops in Diagon Alley were closed, Xuan sneaked in quietly. This time Xuan also used the ability of the size of a bird and snake. But this time, he not only grew bigger but also used the ability to shrink, making himself only the size of a grain of rice, and then used the floating spell to move himself, quietly staying on the flag of a shop in front of Gringotts Bank. The Gringotts Bank in front of me was also closing time, and all the goblins closed the door and left after counting today's galleons, except for the guard at the door. At the same time, the guardian magic of Gringotts Bank is also turned on, which is similar to the principle of the magic shield raised by Hogwarts when Hogwarts dueled with Voldemort in the original timeline, and the magic is all protected. Gringotts had just closed, so the robber naturally wouldn't come to the door so soon, and Xuan didn't put all his heart on Gringotts. At this point in time, standing on the high ground looking at Diagon Alley has a different feeling. It was late at night, and the originally noisy Diagon Alley became much quieter. Most of the shops were closed, such as Ollivander's wand shop that Xuan had visited before, Madame Malkin's robe store, Fantastic Beasts store, and so on. However, many stores are still open, such as Lihin bookstore, but they are buying goods while there are not many customers. And Florin Fusco's ice cream parlor over there, and Horror Tour Wizard Travel, which is not responsible for any injuries or injuries that may occur while traveling. The travel and vacation projects provided by this travel agency are not simple. They are all very thrilling and exciting, such as renting out a vampire's castle, hiking along the zombie trail, visiting the Bermuda Triangle, and so on. Just look at the other parties' projects, and you'll know that they are still open so late, just to see if there is any wizard who is not afraid of death to contribute KPIs to them. There is also Mrs. Primpney's beauty pharmacy over there. This off-duty time is when the other party's business is booming, and the witches are now free to come over for maintenance after get off work. And the same goes for Florin Fusco's ice cream parlor. Xuan just watched quietly like this. Looking at Diagon Alley from this perspective is also a different experience. For Xuan, he didn't feel bored. Time passed bit by bit, and slowly the entire Diagon Alley became quiet, and all the shops were closed. Did the hooting of an owl make this place a little weirder, or ordinary people would definitely be terrified here? But with power in his hands, Xuan is naturally not afraid. After all, he is confident that he can face any crisis with his own strength. If he can't, he hides in the small world. Boom! In the dead of night, a huge explosion sounded from Gringotts, resounding through the night sky of Diagon Alley. The opportunity is here. Hearing the explosion, Xuan didn't panic, instead his eyes lit up, and he was so excited. The whole person did not return to its original size and flew directly towards Gringotts Bank. Don't forget that apart from the ability of the bird and snake to be as big as you want, it can also fly. Naturally, Xuan borrowed the abilities of magical animals without changing the corresponding organs. If Xuan couldn't fly like a bird or snake without wings, then the beast's spirit orb would be too good. As long as it is the ability possessed by magical animals, Xuan can borrow it without any other restrictions or requirements. At this time, the magic protective cover outside Gringotts has been destroyed. In fact, Xuan thinks that it is more likely to be closed voluntarily. After all, such an explosion can destroy the protective cover. Do you think you're some dark lord with no nose? Xuan didn't think Hagrid had the same power as Voldemort. If that was the case, he wouldn't be just an ordinary guard of the Forbidden Forest. The open Gringotts door and the vault door made Xuan more convinced that the theft was the same thing this time. The guess in his heart was correct. Xuan ignored the big clumsy man and flew directly towards the underground of the vault. Because this self-directed and self-acted theft case showed that the other party opened the door of convenience here at Gringotts, it also meant that Hagrid didn't spend much time, and Xuan didn't have much time to act. This time Xuan came in with 2 goals, so the time is still very tight. Xuan sprinted forward along the track. Although the underground tunnel was very dark, it couldn't stop Xuan's pace. Xuan, who had been flying at full speed for a while, heard the sound of running water coming from ahead, and knew that his destination was approaching, because the sound of running water meant that he was about to go to Gringotts to guard against burglars specially set up for the underground vault. Falls, the anti-thief waterfall, can wash away all the spells, so as to prevent some dark wizards from pretending to be other wizards to enter the underground vault. Like Harry Potter in the original timeline, they used this method in order to get one of Voldemort's Horcruxes, Hufflepuff's Golden Cup. It's just that after being baptized by the anti-thief waterfall, they were all exposed, and that Goblin Griffook also cheated on Harry Potter and the others once, greedily taking away Gryffindor's sword. But in the end, he also paid the price for his greed, and it was the price of his life, directly dying at Voldemort's hands. In the end, his greedy Gryffindor sword also disappeared and was finally used by Neville to achieve the title of Juggernaut. Xuan rushed directly through the anti-thief waterfall, and the current didn't affect him at all, because he wasn't using a spell at all, so the anti-thief waterfall had no effect on him. After rushing through the anti-thief waterfall, continue forward to a suspended track, which is specially designed here. If there is a problem with the wizard who comes in, it will directly fall from the track. Falling from such a height, if there is no preparation, it will turn into a puddle of meat. Even if they use the floating spell to escape this catastrophe, it doesn't matter, the goblins still have a backhand, and that is the executioner who guards here, a Ulank iron-bellied dragon and a powerful fire dragon. And Xuan's goal this time is exactly it, a free fire dragon. As a person who wants to become a master of magical animals, how can he refuse such a temptation? And in the magic world, it is impossible to buy a fire dragon in this situation, whether it is a young dragon or a dragon egg, let alone an adult dragon like this. Not to mention that Hagrid got a Norwegian spinneback egg casually. It was brought by a Dark Lord. Don't doubt the means and channels of a Dark Lord, even a down-and-out devil. But some backgrounds are still better than many wizard families. All-powerful roars. After landing, Xuan regained his body shape. Feeling that someone stepped into his territory, the Ulank iron-bellied dragon roared loudly, but Xuan could hear Fang Yin's pain hidden inside from its roar. It's just that when Xuan appeared in front of it, the poor fire dragon stopped its aggressive roar because it felt a kind of closeness to Xuan. Wu-tilde. The fire dragon, which has been tormented all this time, couldn't help but growl at Xuan. In this dark underground, there is no other creature. Even if there are goblins and wizards, they beat and scolded Xuan. If it dares to be disrespectful to wizards and goblins, it will be tortured in various ways, and sometimes it will even be fasted for a few days. Normally, those miserly and greedy fairies would not give it too much food. First, it needs a lot of food to satisfy its appetite, and it will cost a lot of money over time. The second is that if you eat too much and are full of energy, it is easy to do things and it is inconvenient to manage, so basically give it half or 1/3 full. Looking at the scene in front of him, Xuan also felt a little sad. This huge fire dragon is just tied to the ground, with huge iron chains tied around its neck and legs. Get rid of it. This fiery dragon, who was imprisoned underground and never saw the sun, had become gray and loose due to being confined underground for too long. Due to long-term nutritional deficiencies, the entire dragon was skinny, and its eyes turned a cloudy pink color. Its huge spiked wings were gathered on both sides of its body, and there was nothing on it except for the bones and the thin layer of fleshy wings. This pitifully declining fire dragon completely lost the power of a giant dragon and became a slave of goblins, guarding the underground treasures for them, but it did not receive the treatment it deserved, and was even not as good as a dog in the Muggle world. There is also a box of metal pieces on the side, which is specially used by goblins to deter fire dragons. After cruel training, it has already developed a conditioned reflex to the tinkle of metal pieces. Under the violent domestication of the goblins, the majestic fire dragon has become so timid and cowering. Afraid of a small jingle, it is really a dragon swimming in the shallows, and the tiger falls into the sun. Hearing the hoarse roar of the fire dragon, and the horrible scars on his face and body, he knew how miserable the other party was really living here. Stretching out and stroking the fire dragon's big head, the extremely rough touch also shows that the other party's nutrition is really not enough. Who would have imagined that a colossal creature would beg in Xuan's arms for comfort like a wronged child? Okay, it's okay, I'll take you out of here. Why did Xuan say that the Ulank iron-bellied dragon in front of him was malnourished? It was because a healthy Ulank iron-bellied dragon had shiny gray scales and a long wingspan. At the same time, the eyes are dark red, the claws are particularly long, and the body is round. But the Wulank fire dragon in front of me is not as satisfying as the other one. If it weren't for the Wulank iron-bellied dragon is the largest fire dragon in the world, otherwise there would be no fire dragons in the Wulank iron-bellied dragon who is so thin. Look, hearing Xuan's words, Fire Dragon let out a happy cry, and Xuan cast a spell on the heavy shackles on Fire Dragon's hind legs, and the thick iron chains wrapped around its neck several times. The light of the sword and the shadow of the sword. At present, what Xuan can cut off these iron chains at once is the metallic spell that comes with the innate 5-element spirit pagoda. Roar! Seeing that the iron chains and shackles that imprisoned him were cut off by Xuan, Wu Lank's iron belly roared even though he was very weak now. But this time, what Xuan heard from the opponent's roar was full of joy, and Xuan was not afraid that the fire dragon's roar would attract the goblins and guards. In order to cooperate with Hagrid's actions tonight, no matter how big the disturbance here is, the other party will not come to investigate. In addition, the roar of the fire dragon is not a strange thing, there is nothing to explore. I'll bring you into a world in a while, don't panic, don't wreak havoc. You can capture those ordinary animals when you're hungry, but don't hurt those magical animals. As for those things that you cannot harm, you can sense them when you enter the small world. Xuan explained a little bit about the Ulank iron-bellied dragon. After all, he still has things to do, and it is inconvenient to move with such a huge fire dragon, and the goal is too big. In addition, the fire dragon is very weak now, and it still needs a period of recuperation. Roar. The trained fire dragon let out a cry to show that he understands that maybe this Ulank iron belly is not very good, but it can do very well in terms of obedience. The induction that Xuan mentioned earlier is naturally a magical induction between these magical animals after recognizing the master Xuan, which is why Xuan is not afraid that the fire dragon will accidentally injure him. At the same time, he is not afraid that the other party will wreak havoc in the small world. Since he has spoken and the other party has accepted the master, he will naturally not violate his orders. Xuan couldn't help laughing happily after bringing Wulank's iron belly into the small world and successfully achieved the first goal tonight. Finally, he is also a man who owns a fire dragon. It took a year to get the first fire dragon in his life. To be honest, this speed is not fast, but in the current world where fire dragons are monopolized, the speed of Xuan who has not yet developed is not too slow. But if there is the first one, then the second and third ones will gradually come into being. And after the fire dragon recovers well in the small world, it will become Xuan's other whole card besides the Xianshan, 5 Elements Pagoda, and the Beast Spirit Orb. It should also be Xuan's trump card that Xuan can play upright at the moment. At that time, whether he directly summons the fire dragon or Xuan borrows the power of the fire dragon, Xuan's power can be greatly increased, and it will be enhanced in all aspects. There can never be too many whole cards. Now that the fire dragon is in the bag, it is time to complete the second goal. Xuan went to the deepest 4 or 5 vaults. This time the goblins attacked, Xuan would be sorry if he didn't give them some pain. As for not having permission, it is not a problem for Xuan. Don't forget, Xuan also has a magical ability, space teleportation, but because it consumes the innate 5-element psychic fluid, Xuan almost never uses it. But it's not bad to use it now, and the price-performance ratio is still not low. So Xuan still plans to use space teleportation, so that no permission is needed. The anti-space magic circle here can't restrict Xuan's actions, because to some extent, the spells of these spirit treasures are of a higher level than the magic spells in the Hogwarts world. It can restrict wizards from using apparition, but it can't restrict Xuan's space movement. It's as if you use a miniature fence surrounded by toothpicks to block the footsteps of human beings. It is useless. It can block ants, but it cannot stop humans. Xuan's second target was naturally the golden cup of Bellican Curry's Hufflepuff, which was one of Voldemort's Horcruxes. Don't say that Xuan is afraid of some socket man. When he comes out to stir up trouble, just suppress it directly. Xuan is always a person who takes 1 step and sees 3 steps, and is also a person who will never dislike the many cards in his hand. Not having a sword is completely different from having a sword without using it, not to mention that destroying a Horcrux is weakening the enemy. Why should you fight against an enemy that can weaken the enemy? Looking at the original timeline, Harry Potter was able to defeat Voldemort not because he eliminated Voldemort's Horcruxes step by step. Otherwise, he would not be able to defeat Voldemort even with the aura of the protagonist. In fact, Harry Potter was able to defeat Voldemort, and was even able to hold an electric welding contest in the end, because he eliminated Voldemort's Horcrux step by step. Look at how embarrassed Harry Potter was in the face of Voldemort. He was beaten and fled. Even when there were only 3 Horcruxes left, Nagel, Harry Potter, and Ron Claw's crown, they could all be destroyed with one blow. Hogwarts' magic shield. If you think about it, you must know that at this time Voldemort has already been wiped out of the 4 Horcruxes: Tom's notebook, Hufflepuff's gold cup, Slytherin locket, and Gunter's ring. It can be said that at this time Voldemort may only have half of his strength. It can be seen that Voldemort ruled an era not because of his charisma, but because of his incomparably powerful strength. It's just that 7 Horcruxes came out later, and all his strength was scattered, so it can only be said that he made a bad move. And Harry Potter was finally killed by Neville with the help of the last Horcrux Nagel, and with the rebellion of the Elder Wand, Harry Potter was able to truly fulfill the duty entrusted to him by the name of the Savior, the real salvation out of the wizarding world. Xuan also didn't think that he would be spared because he was a time traveler when Voldemort started the war, so Xuan started to prepare now. At that time, if Voldemort dares to trouble me, I will definitely give him a super invincible surprise. Voldemort's 7 Horcruxes are Tom Riddle's diary, Lawen Kelluo's crown, Gunter's ring, Hufflepuff's gold cup and Slytherin's locket, and finally Harry Potter and Nagel. Among the 7 Horcruxes, Xuan is confident that he will get 3. They are Hufflepuff's gold cup that can be obtained from Bella's golden curry in a while, and Lawn Key, which can be obtained in the room of requirement after school starts. Law's diadem and the Slytherin's locket. The Slytherin locket was now on Umbridge's neck. Xuan felt that as long as there were enough galleons, it was not something that could not be transferred. For the remaining 4 Horcruxes, Gaunt's ring can be won, and Tom Riddle's notebook will pop out by itself in the 2nd grade. It should be said that Voldemort's good subordinate Lucius Malfoy took the initiative to send it out. Needless to say about Harry Potter at the end, Nadger and Xuan didn't want to. As long as Voldemort appeared, Nadger would naturally appear, so Xuan didn't need to worry about it. What Xuan was more interested in was that when Voldemort came back to life, he wanted to find his 7 Horcruxes, but found that 3 were in Xuan's hands. One was standing by Xuan's side, and the other had already been wiped out. What kind of expression will the expression be? Is it like the old 8 eating a secret small hamburger? No, Lao Ba is happy eating the secret little burger. It should be the expression of Voldemort eating Lao Ba's secret little burger. It should be more interesting than the subway old man's mobile phone. You must know that Voldemort is also an interesting person. Just look at his magical laughter during the final battle at Hogwarts, and you will know that he is also a wonderful person. When Xuan came to these vaults, he teleported them in with a swish, because he didn't know which one was Bella's vault, so Xuan decided to loot them all. No need to thank him, he is the successor of Miyoshi in the new era. There are so many golden galleons, most people can't handle them, the water is too deep, and it's easy to drown, so let's keep it for yourself. I'm good at water, so I'm not afraid. A minute later, Xuan ransacked all the vaults and put all the treasures inside into Small World's warehouse. It has to be said that these treasure houses are hidden in the deepest place and guarded by Ulank Iron Belly, which is indeed worthy of this treatment. It really filled the entire treasury with all kinds of treasures and galleons. Anyway, Xuan will never lack galleons in the future. Having accomplished his goal, Xuan used the ability of the bird and snake to change his body shape and returned along the same path. Xuan stayed at the anti-thief waterfall for a while and then left quickly. Fortunately, Xuan's action was fast enough. Instead of checking and searching those vaults one by one, they took them all away in a swarm. Because not long after he left Gringotts, he left, and Hagrid followed. Even Hagrid wore a hooded wizard robe like Xuan, but his figure was really deceiving. Seeing that Hagrid had left, Xuan naturally also left, because it was time for the actors to appear, and Xuan did not intend to continue contacting Aurors and those goblins. Sneaking back quietly into the room of the leaky cauldron, Xuan breathed a sigh of relief. Although this time the operation went very smoothly and the early stage was strictly planned, he was still nervous. As for why not take the opportunity to raid a few more vaults, one is that there is not enough time, and the other is that once the number of galleons reaches a certain level, their usefulness will not be that great. Just like those rich people in the previous life, no matter how much money there is, it is just a string of numbers. In addition, the few vaults that Xuan just harvested are enough. If all the Gringotts vaults are searched, the subsequent impact and movement will be too great. At that time, the entire English magic world will be thoroughly investigating this matter. Even if Xuan sweeps up the golden galleons, there is no way to use them on a large scale. Isn't this the 300 taels of silver here? Aren't you turning into a self-destructing truck? The galleons of wizards in England have been stolen, and most of the galleons of wizards are stored in Gringotts. If they can produce such a huge amount of galleons, what is it but thieves? That's why Xuan took this into consideration when doing things, so he didn't search a few more vaults. Otherwise, with the magical skill of space teleportation, even if time was tight, he could still search half of the vaults. Now Xuan can proudly say like that horse boss, "I'm not interested in money. In my previous life, I didn't even achieve financial freedom, not to mention financial freedom. It should be said that I just got enough food and clothing. I didn't expect that after crossing, I could also pretend to be rich. No wonder everyone wants to time travel. Everyone loves time traveling, who wouldn't want to?" Xuan stepped into the small world and began to count the harvest this time. As soon as I came in, I saw the Ulank Iron Belly Fire Dragon preying on the lake. I ignored it and explained that the predation should not make bloody messes, so I ignored it. There is no need to deal with it too much now, just give it time. In the small world, there is sufficient food and the ubiquitous spiritual energy to take care of its body all the time. Looking at the current situation, it will take about a month to make it a fire dragon is back on top. The first harvest is naturally this fire dragon, and the second is the harvest of a few gold curries. As for the treasures in the treasury, in order to prevent them from being stolen, they have all been cast with a division spell. Are the galleons and treasures that Xuan took out useless, or have to break the spell one by one? I'm sorry, don't bother. Xuan has already thought of this problem before. Otherwise, why do you think Xuan stayed at the anti-thief waterfall for a while when time was still so urgent when he left? What is the function of anti-thief waterfall? That is to wash away all the spells. Does the splitting curse belong to the spell? Of course it counts. So just pass the galleons and treasures taken out from the treasury through the water of the anti-thief waterfall. Of course, Xuan is not sure if it will work. After all, they were taken out from the waterfall. As soon as he thought about it, he did it directly. Xuan took out some gold galleons and put them into the anti-thief waterfall. As Xuan expected, it really worked. Xuan passed all the galleons and treasures through the water of Fangthief waterfall and eliminated all the division spells on it. However, Xuan also discovered in the process that the ability to prevent the thief from falling water is also constantly weakening. It should be said that he is counteracting the splitting curse. Fortunately, the number Lion picked was enough. Otherwise, it would not be enough to remove all the treasures with the splitting curse. In the end, there was only a little bit left, and after Xuan put it away so as not to need it later, he began to count these supplies. If those goblins knew that the anti-thief waterfall they used to hinder thieves was used by Xuan, would they be P******D off? This is Xuan's real way of dealing with others. Anyway, Xuan is convinced by his own intelligence. Fortunately, Xuan is like a god in the small world, so it didn't take too much time to check these things because he didn't have to do it himself. Of course, the most gold galleons in it are piled up like a hill. The number is hundreds of thousands, and Xuan didn't count the details. As for silver sickle and copper nut, sorry, none of them deserve to appear in these treasure houses. There are the largest number of galleons, but the largest ones are other treasures, all kinds of utensils made of gold and various gems. In order to store these things, Xuan had to open another warehouse. In addition to the above, there are also some magic potions, books, and some materials, including plant materials and animal materials, but Xuan has not studied potions and these materials for the time being, so he basically cannot recognize them. This can only be sorted out slowly after Xuan went to Hogwarts to start studying. After all, the Hogwarts Library and Potion Master Severus will help Xuan complete this task. In fact, what Xuan didn't know was that these were the foundations of those pure-blood families. Many of those materials were no longer available or were very rare. And books are generally some rare knowledge, not even in the library of Hogwarts. Not to mention those magic potions anyway, Xuan issued it this time. In the magic world, galleons are not only valuable, these may be more valuable than galleons. It's just that this huge wealth can only be discovered later by Xuan. Knowing what to do, Xuan flashed into the leaky cauldron again and found that the theft from Gringotts did not cause any movement here, so he went back to his room and entered the small world to rest in peace. The next morning, Xuan refused Tom's breakfast and made his way to Diagon Alley, hearing discussions of the theft from Gringotts all the way. It seems that after a night of fermenting, the Gringotts theft case still came out. Xuan followed the flow of people to Gringotts. At this time, Gringotts had been quarantined. Many Aurors were investigating there, and some goblins were also being questioned. The goblin director here is yelling at the Aurors angrily. Xuan even saw a reporter interviewing the Minister of Magic Fudge. Of course, the other party is a very official statement. To find the murderer, Xuan, all I can say is good luck to him. There are quite a few people around, and indeed gossip is the nature of human beings. No matter what time and space they are in, any group of people will have a heart of gossip, just like the essence of human beings is a repeater. Xuan stood aside for a while and left after a while because there was nothing left to see, so he decided not to stay here any longer, so as not to cause more accidents. After leaving Diagon Alley, Xuan used apparition to return to his home, and then he had a good rest, packed his luggage by the way, and arranged some things in the real world. Because Hogwarts is about to start school. On September 1st, Xuan asked his exclusive driver to take him to King's Cross Station. In order not to be so conspicuous, Xuan still packed some luggage in a small trolley. Because no matter if you are a new student or a senior student, you will not go to Hogwarts empty-handed at the beginning of school. If Xuan doesn't want to be the most independent and eye-catching cub in the audience, then don't do it. Okay, you guys go back. Xuan told his driver and bodyguards after they helped unload the luggage from the trunk of the car and stack it on the trolley. Okay, master. Regarding Xuan's order, they naturally obeyed and did not dare to have any objections. Those who can stay by Xuan's side are not fools, and those who are ignorant cannot be selected by Xuan. As for the title of young master, that's naturally what Xuan asked them to call him. At least young master is more in line with his age than boss and boss. Seeing Xuan's formation, the people coming and going in King's Cross Station couldn't help but distance themselves a little. Even though Xuan looked very handsome, he was not easy to get along with. In such a democratic country, it is better for ordinary people to stay away from those powerful strangers. Otherwise, it is impossible to tell when you will be directly clicked off because of being disliked by the other party. With Xuan's current strength, it's not a problem to push such a small trolley forward. He even pushed it with one hand while holding a purple rectangular ticket with the other. There is no doubt that the Hogwarts logo is in the middle of the ticket, and on the ticket it says Wheel Squat, God of Anti-River Crab to Hogwarts, Platform 9 3/4. Xuan was not Harry Potter. He thought that there was no such platform. He put the ticket in his pocket because he could feel that magic was cast on the ticket. It was a proof that they could pass through the partition wall. That's why Hagrid told Harry to keep the ticket safe, which is very important. Xuan rolled out the trolley and soon came to the platform marked 9 and 10. When he arrived, he saw a student stroller rushing into the partition wall between platforms 9 and 10. Xuan looked around and found that no one noticed how jaw-dropping this scene was, as if they hadn't seen anything. However, a guard at the side noticed Xuan's appearance and signaled him with his eyes, meaning not to stay here and enter as soon as possible. Xuan nodded to express his understanding. He knew that this guard was also a wizard. In fact, the Ministry of Magic sent people here every year when the school started. The purpose is to limit the number of people passing through the partition at the same time so as not to attract the attention of muggles. But Xuan didn't just sense this guard wizard, he also sensed several wizards hiding in the crowd beside him. But it's normal to think about it. The start of Hogwarts School is naturally a very important thing for England's magic community. The Ministry of Magic will naturally send people to guard and protect it to avoid any accidents. Just think about the fact that in the real world, every time school starts, there will be a policeman guarding it, and it is said that the magic world is not particularly safe. If there is no one to guard and protect, pureblood or mixed-blood little wizards are fine, and have their own parents to protect them, but Muggle-born little wizards are likely to be targeted. Fudge didn't want his position as Minister of Magic to be taken away because of this incident. Xuan pushed the car and ran towards the partition wall. What he didn't know was that when he was about to hit the partition wall, the ticket in his pocket suddenly flashed a light. If he saw it, he knew that his previous guess was correct. Xuan felt that he had entered a somewhat dark passage, but the passage was not very long, only about 10 meters away, and Xuan came out soon. After coming out, the very familiar wizard-style decorations and lights, as well as the Hogwarts Express 5972 train written on the front of the car. Looking at the steaming train, Xuan curled his lips. What about the Hogwarts Express? The Hogwarts Express is about the same, at this speed in his previous life in front of Donghuang, an infrastructure madman, not to mention the top 100, even 11 million may not be its turn. Xuan carried his luggage and boarded the Hogwarts Express. He arrived very early, so there were basically no people on the train, so there were still a lot of empty workshops. When Xuan is in a car, he usually likes to go to the corners, especially the last corner, which is Xuan's favorite. When Xuan came to the rear of the train, he found that one of the two carriages on the left and right was already occupied. A girl a few years older than Xuan was looking down at the book in her hand. Her face was blocked by her hanging silver hair, so Xuan didn't know what she looked like. Since the most desirable right-hand side was reserved in advance by this senior, I can only choose the left side, but it doesn't matter, as long as it is the last row, then anything is easy to say. There is no need for a magic spell at all. Xuan's strength is enough for him to stuff his luggage into the place where the luggage is placed above by himself. What he didn't know was that, when he entered the compartment on the left, the senior who was looking down at the book looked up at him. What kind of face is that? In Xuan's words, it's his XB face, fair skin, small Qiang nose, star-like eyes paired with long silver hair, a bit like a royal sister. If you are older, wear a pair of gold-rimmed glasses with a chain, put on a set of white-collar work clothes, and add that cold temperament, you will be a safe and domineering female president. The carved eagle on her wizard robes indicates that she is from the most learned school of Ravenclaw. Seeing Xuan, she was also very puzzled. She prefers to be quiet, but today is the first day of freshman's school, so the carriage in front will definitely be very noisy. For her own safety, she went out early to take up a seat. But she didn't expect that not long after she sat down, she saw a freshman, such a weak little brother must be a first-year freshman. Although the other party was really good-looking, he was the most handsome and temperamental she had ever seen, but his collagen-filled face still betrayed his age, although he was much taller than ordinary people of the same age. According to the general freshman, they will definitely not come so fast. Even if they come, they will chat a lot with their parents at the station, reluctant to leave, and then rush to get on the train when it is about to leave. She was like this back then, but this freshman not only came early, but also chose the quietest rear of the car. It seems that he does not have the noisy and lively personality of his peers. Looking at his appearance again, he has a calm appearance, and that aristocratic temperament, coupled with black hair, she thinks the nobles in the ancient East should look like this, right? As for why it is not considered to be from other countries, Neon has its own magic school and magic institute, and the country of Neon will never have such a family. It's not that she hasn't seen Neon people before, they are generally short in height, and they have that temperament. They will definitely not have the temperament of the boy in front of them. This kind of thing can't be learned at all, it's innate. When she saw that the other party was about to lift the huge suitcase up, she took out her wand and prepared to cast a floating spell on the other party. In the end, she didn't expect that although the other party was young, she had such strong physical fitness, so she put away her wand. After the other party packed up, she also retracted her gaze and continued to look down at the books in front of her. She didn't know how shocking her behavior would be if her acquaintances saw it, and when she would take the initiative to help others, especially the opposite S*X. Although the other party is just a younger brother, it has never happened before. Although as a prefect, she usually answers and helps her classmates with any questions, but it is always the other party who offers to send a signal that she needs help, which is completely different from today's situation. But the flower of jailing who continued to read the book didn't feel how surprising her behavior just now was. She was just following her inner thoughts. While it is still quiet, continue reading, otherwise, as a prefect, she will not be so leisurely when the train starts, because the prefect will patrol the corridors of the Hogwarts Express train to avoid some little wizards seek death. After all, young wizards at this age, especially those in the first and second grades, are at the time when their energy and curiosity are very strong. If they don't pay attention, they may cause big things. Like 2 years ago, there was a little wizard who died and was thrown out of the Hogwarts Express. Fortunately, he was rescued in the end, otherwise things would have exploded. In fact, there is a special prefect car in the car where she can rest and hold meetings, but she doesn't like it, especially some red-haired guy. It's too annoying, like brown sugar. It doesn't make sense. For your own peace, it's good to stay here. So many times the so-called first impression in this world is based on appearance. The classic dragon king smile with crooked mouth, the ugly smile is called shabby, wretched, and ugly, but the handsome smile is called evil charm, which is called different taste. Look at it, this world is so unfair. Just look at Zio Lizzie's peak appearance and playing with water guns. Fortunately, Xuan is not afraid. He is as handsome as readers Yanzu, and he also has the added value of his appearance and temperament, so the first impression he gives people is naturally perfect. Xuan was sitting by the window, looking at the students gradually increasing outside and the carriage slowly starting to make noise. Fortunately, he came earlier, otherwise he really didn't like the noise. With a thought, the originally open door of the carriage was closed. Such a small movement does not need the assistance of wands and spells at all. Xuan knew that in the magical world of England, besides platform 9 3/4, there was another platform, also here at King's Cross Station. Unlike platform 9 3/4 to Hogwarts, another platform 7.5 between platforms 7 and 8 is for long-distance trains to wizarding villages on the continent. However, if Xuan really intends to go to the European continent, he will definitely not come to King's Cross Station to take a bus from platform 7 and 1-2. Considering that it takes almost half a day to get to Hogwarts by wheel squatting, wouldn't it take 10 days and a half a month to go to the European continent? With this skill, is it not easy to fly in the plane of the technological world? Why do you torture yourself like this? Xuan, who was sitting by the window, saw Harry Potter and the Weasley family with the iconic red hair, and they all boarded the train one after another as time went by. After reading for a while, Xuan, who had nothing to do, took out Newt Scamander's book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and read it. To be honest, this book is not very thick, and the description of fantastic beasts in it is only rough. That's all, but Xuan still saw it with relish. In fact, this is not the first time Xuan has read this book, but he still takes it out and flips it when he is bored. What Xuan didn't know was that when he was immersed in the sea of books, Senior Lawen Keluo in the next carriage had already left. But when he left, he stared at Xuan deeply, but he didn't notice it. It can only be said that Xuan left a deep impression on a certain girl's heart. Xuan didn't know that he had attracted the attention of a beautiful senior before entering Hogwarts. Let's look good. It is absolutely not too much to describe it with a sentence on the internet before. If being handsome is a crime, then I have committed a heinous crime. If being cool is a mistake, then I have made mistakes again and again. Then wouldn't I be cut to pieces? Xuan said that the above remarks have nothing to do with him, they are all the author's nonsense. Such adjectives are not worthy of themselves, only the ancestors who are reading books are worthy of it. No wonder the author receives such a small salary every month. With his EQ, it's not bad if the boss doesn't fire him. Immersed in the book, no, to be precise, Xuan should be looking at the book but actually thinking about it, he didn't notice the passage of time. He was brought back to his senses by a knock on the door. And when he looked up, a man and a woman standing at the door knocking on the carriage door with luggage were looking at him. It's just that the scene in front of him seemed a bit out of harmony. The little chubby boy shrank back, as if he was afraid of seeing strangers. On the contrary, the girl standing in front was generous and confident. She should be the one who knocked on the door just now. Hello, can we come in? The other cars are full. Hearing the little girl's polite question, Xuan nodded. If it were someone else, he might not agree, but the two in front of him are not strangers but acquaintances in a certain sense, so Xuan didn't refuse them either. I am already in the last compartment, and the other party must have come to find me one by one, and they have all arrived at my place, which means that the front must be full. Thinking of this, Xuan couldn't help but think of the senior in the car on the right when he got on the bus. Xuan looked over and found that the owner of that carriage had changed and turned into a few Hufflepuff seniors wearing wizard robes. It turned out that the senior who pulled when Keluo had left at some point. Maybe she was called by her friend, but for some reason, a sense of loss suddenly flashed in Xuan's heart. It was the loss of not seeing that figure. But this loss came and went quickly. He looked at the two people who were struggling to carry their luggage, and he stood up and helped them put their luggage away. Both of them were taken aback by Xuan's huge strength. Although Xuan looked much taller than them, they didn't expect to hit him with such great strength. Hermione knew how heavy her suitcase was, and it was not easy for her father to move it today, which meant that this person of the same age as her was about as strong as an adult man. That's right, these two acquaintances who were destined to be in the same car as Xuan are none other than Miss Know-it-all's super academic Hermione Granger and the future swordsman Neville Longbottom. Therefore, it's not surprising that women are strong and men are weak. The current Neville has not grown up yet and is still a cowardly and stammering child. As for why Xuan didn't take out his wand and cast a floating spell, but directly carried it up. The main reason is that there is no need for this. Is the wand out to show off in front of Hermione and Neville that he can use the levitation charm? And when the wand came out, it took enough time to recite the spell to put the luggage away. Well, one more thing, Xuan didn't want to hear Hermione's long speech, even if she was a super cute little girl. Xuan thought that he could avoid a catastrophe in this way, but what he didn't expect was that many times things didn't happen because of our subjective thoughts. Hello, I'm Hermione Granger. You are also a freshman at Hogwarts, right? Although Hermione used the words of inquiry, but it was in an affirmative tone, not because of anything else. It was because she had met Xuan in Diagon Alley, Ollivander's wand shop. To be precise, when Xuan had just obtained his own magic wand reincarnation, the scene he created was seen by Hermione passing by. Neville Longbottom. Neville, who walked in together, saw that Hermione took the initiative to introduce her, and remembered what her grandma said about getting along well with her classmates, so she also said it. It's just that his voice was extremely weak. If not for being close, Xuan might not have heard it. Seeing Neville with a round face in front of him, and him with his head down all the time, Xuan didn't blame him, knowing that his appearance had something to do with his childhood experience. When he was 1.5 years old, his parents were tortured to the point of madness by 4 Death Eaters using the Cruciatus curse in front of him. Later, in order to avoid this incident from leaving him with a psychological shadow, his family cast a forgetting curse on him. As a result, he was very forgetful, and his personality was somewhat dull. As for his inferiority complex and cowardice, it was caused by his family. Neville was considered a squib for a long time when he was a child, pointing to a person who was born in a wizarding family and at least one of his parents was a wizard, but he had no magic power and could not learn magic. In order to force Neville to reveal his magical potential, his great uncle Algy pushed him off the pier of the Black Lake and had nothing to gain except almost drowning Neville. If it didn't work once, it came a second time. When Neville was 8 years old, his great uncle started acting like a demon again, grabbing Neville by the ankles and hanging him upside down from the upstairs window. But when he turned around to pick up something, he loosened his grip on Neville's ankle. Xuan didn't know if the accident was real or not. Anyway, he was skeptical. After all, there was the Black Lake incident first. Fortunately, this time Neville fell on the ground and flew across the garden, fell on the road and awakened his magic power. Otherwise, there might be a third and fourth time. This time, Neville's uncle was very happy and even bought a toad for Neville, which is the toad called Lyford in his hand now. But this toad, Lyford, is not worry-free goods, even lost. So Neville is also a poor baby, but he can be assigned to Gryffindor. Although he does not seem to fit Gryffindor's brave and fearless image, he is strong in heart, soft on the outside, and strong on the inside. Think about it in the original timeline. When Voldemort brought the news that Harry Potter was dead and wanted everyone at Hogwarts to surrender him, only Neville stood up, and in the end it was his Gryffindor sword that was chopped off the head of Nadger the Serpent, pressing the final button for Voldemort and Harry's battle. Therefore, as one of the unknown sons of prophecy, Neville also has his own unique style. But the pensive Xuan seemed to have forgotten that there was a big trouble beside him. Seeing Xuan, who fell into deep thought after hearing Neville's introduction, Hermione couldn't help curling her lips angrily. Fortunately, Xuan also came back to his senses at this time, smiled, and said to Hermione and Neville, I am Li Xuan from Donghuang. According to your habits, I am Xuan Li, but I don't think it sounds good. I hope you call me Li Xuan, but it's good to know that Li is the surname and Xuan is the first name. Li Xuan. Hermione silently repeated this difficult-to-pronounce name a few times. After all, there were still differences between Eastern and Western cultures. Li Xuan, where is your very cool black and gold wand? Hearing Hermione's words, Li Xuan looked at her in surprise. How did the other party know that her wand reincarnation was black and gold? Seeing Li Xuan's puzzled eyes, and Neville, who has been huddled in the corner, sitting on only half of the stool, quietly cast his concerned eyes over. Black and gold wand, is there such a wand? When you bought a wand from Mr. Ollivander before, I passed by and saw the shocking scene. Well, when Hermione said this, Li Xuan understood. It turned out to be such a thing, and he was still thinking hard. How did the other party know? You must know that only Ollivander and Professor Flitwick know about the reincarnation of the wand. These two are not talkative people, and naturally they will not spread it everywhere. How did Hermione know? So it turned out to be the case. It's just a magic wand. What's so interesting about it? Speaking of which, what are the materials and cores of your wands? I have done a little research on the wands, so I can tell you something you don't know. In order to prevent Hermione from continuing to grab her wand, Li Xuan resorted to the legendary method of changing the subject. My wand is vinewood with a dragon heartstring core. Hermione really doesn't have much research on wands. As a studious child, she still wants to learn new knowledge very much, so Li Xuan's very obvious method of changing the topic is ignored for the time being. Anyway, she has a lot of ways later return. Seeing the other two people looking at him, Neville swallowed and said, made of chestnut wood unicorn hair. Then I'll start with Hermione's wand. Since Hermione answered first, then Li Xuan spoke in sequence. And when Hermione heard Li Xuan's words, Hermione couldn't help leaning forward, and her eyes almost overflowed with anticipation. Grapevine wood is also a relatively rare wood in the magic world. In fact, according to our conventional understanding, vine wood is not a tree because it is very slender compared to ordinary trees, and it is soft and difficult to shape. However, the Druids believe that any plant with a woody stem is a tree, so vine wood is also counted as a tree, but if you want to use vine wood to make a wooden stick, ordinary stick makers cannot do it. Only a wand master like Ollivander can. Li Xuan paused for a moment, then continued. Vine wands are relatively rare because of their difficulty in making, but this does not mean that vine wands are weak. Vine wands are often chosen for wizards of noble purpose, visionary, and capable of doing things that would shock their friends who thought they understood them. Hearing Li Xuan's words, Hermione smiled happily. Isn't this all praise for herself? Hermione doesn't think that Li Xuan is talking nonsense, lying to herself or flattering herself, but Hermione now is not as confident as her future self. The fluffy hair and the front teeth that look like rabbit teeth have caused her to be criticized by her peers in school before. Coupled with her somewhat easy-to-teach-her character, she will naturally not be welcomed by others. Of course, being a good teacher is actually a manifestation of Hermione's willingness to help others. But for the children, the most difficult thing to accept is the criticism of their peers. After all, this is a very embarrassing thing in their eyes. For their own self-esteem, they will naturally quarrel, so the conflict between Hermione and Ron in the original timeline came about in this way. But Li Xuan has the soul of an adult, so naturally it won't be the case. Looking at Hermione, it is indeed rare for this girl to be praised by her peers other than the teacher and elders, so now she is so happy to hear Li Xuan's explanation. Lovely, Li Xuan coughed and continued. It is generally easier to make a powerful wand with a dragon heartstring as the core. After all, this is the material taken from the heart of a powerful dragon. With the dragon heartstring wand, the spells you cast will be more gorgeous, and you can learn magic faster than other types. Regarding Long Xingxian, Li Xuan stopped talking about it, and later on about the black magic. It's better not to say anything about the current Hermione. It turns out that my wand contains so many meanings. Hermione took out her wand and said happily, and said in the next second, I've finished talking about my wand, let's talk about Neville's wand. Neville didn't mind that Hermione was more active than himself in wanting to know his wand. In other words, his character made it difficult for him to have conflicts with others. Of evaluation. Looking at their desperate looks, there is nothing to do anyway, so let's continue talking. The characteristics of chestnut wood are like a piece of white paper with little tendency. This is the opposite of vine wood. Its characteristics are determined by the core. Different cores have different characteristics of chestnut wands. Chestnut wands are usually chosen for experienced trainers of magical creatures, wizards with a talent for herbal medicine, or skilled flyers. Compared with other wand core materials, unicorn tail hair is more likely to faithfully reflect the essence of magic, and is less likely to be interfered by other magic. Wands made of unicorn tail hair are very loyal and have a relationship with wizards. Very close. Speaking of this, Xuan paused for a while, then turned his head to look at Neville seriously and said, "So Neville, you have to be more confident, don't be so inferior, believe in your choice of wand, you should trust yourself."
Oh, MMMs.
Neville, who was listening to Xuan's words carefully, did not expect that Xuan would suddenly say such a thing to him. Although it was a bit abrupt and caught off guard, he was very happy in his heart. Because besides his grandma, Xuan is the first person who affirms and gives him encouragement. As for why Xuan said something that seemed to be nosy, it was because Xuan was very optimistic about Neville's child, and at the same time hoped that he would have more confidence and grow up earlier. That's right, what Xuan said is right. As a boy, Neville, you should be brave and confident, just like now, sit up straight and don't be shy. Hermione on the side also agreed with Xuan's statement and said to Neville. Hearing what Hermione said, seeing Xuan's encouraging eyes and what he just said, Neville sat up straight involuntarily. Seeing Neville like this, neither Xuan nor Hermione said anything more. Even Hermione knew that some things should not be rushed. The attention was not on Neville, so someone had to take over. Hermione didn't want Xuan to escape. Xuan, just now you mentioned Neville's and mine's wands, but you haven't mentioned yours yet. Can you show us your black gold wand, by the way? Who can refuse a request made by a cute girl with big eyes and a small voice? Xuan definitely does not belong to the category of hard-hearted rejection. Thinking about it, the other party has seen it before, and he will use a wand at Hogwarts in the future, so he will not hide it. Wow, so cool. Xuan's magic wand is naturally stored in a sealed cabinet in the small world, and it can be taken out directly when needed. There is no delay at all, and there is no trouble of losing it at all. The poplar wand is also placed inside together. In order to cover it up, Xuan pretended to take it out of his sleeve. Anyway, he was wearing loose clothes, so no one could tell whether there was a magic wand hidden in the sleeve. So when Xuan took out his magic wand to reincarnate, both Hermione and Neville were amazed. Could the magic wand be so beautiful? No one would question the fact that it is an ornament. Thinking of their own wands again, Hermione and Neville couldn't help but have a thought in their minds. There really is no harm without comparison. Wand for two, courtesy of you. Of course, although the two of them were envious and curious, they didn't foolishly ask Xuan to give them the wand for a look. Not to mention Xuan's magic wand. Xuan is still very satisfied with this. These two little guys can get along. They are not that kind of brats. Xuan roughly told Hermione and Neville about his wand, and unsurprisingly won the amazement of the two of them. It can only be said that Xuan and this magic wand are both lucky to be able to meet each other. By the way, Xuan, are you from a wizard family? Otherwise, how would you know so much knowledge? Hermione suddenly remembered and asked, from the time they met to now, apart from Xuan's appearance that impressed Hermione deeply, Xuan's profound knowledge and learned appearance. No, I'm a muggle-born wizard just like you. As for why I know so much, it's because I bought a lot of books and I usually like to read more. Of course, Xuan can't say that I know so much because I'm a time traveler, and I've seen movies in my previous life, right? But he was right. After all, the 7 movies only roughly stated some things in the novel and did not mention many details. This is what Xuan learned after reading the books he bought at Lihin bookstore. After all, knowledge is priceless and can be used in any world. Bang. Just when Xuan and the others were chatting happily, the carriage door was suddenly opened very roughly, and the sound of the carriage door slamming suddenly startled Hermione and the others. Xuan couldn't help feeling a little more angry in his heart. If he didn't explain the situation clearly, he would definitely tell the other party what is polite. Looking up, he saw a platinum blonde hair, with his head held high and his face full of arrogance, as if he was the second child. His third pretend boy was standing at the door, and behind him stood 2 boys who looked like bodyguards. Of course, this is compared with peers. Your wand is very interesting, how about playing with it for me? Hearing the other party's high-spirited words, Hermione looked angry. Although Neville was a little scared, but thinking of the way Xuan treated her just now, she looked at the other party stiffly, but his appearance was not too scary. And the toad Raffle, who was clutched in his hand, was about to burp. Xuan naturally recognized the other party. Such a unique platinum blonde hair. Is it the Malfoy family? Then the identity of this guy is ready to be revealed. Draco Malfoy. The two behind him are undoubtedly his little follower Crabbe and Al Gore. Xuan smiled, and before he could speak, Malfoy, who was looking at people with his nose, continued, "You mudblood, can you have such a wand? Give it to me." As for how to recognize Xuan as a muggle-born wizard, it was because he had seen almost all young wizards from pureblood families of the same age, and he would never forget someone with Xuan's appearance. And when he was at the door just now, he heard Xuan's name, which was obviously Dongfeng's name. That's why he was so arrogant. Xuan didn't expect that it was not his true love, Harry Potter, but himself who was first troubled by Della, so he was caught in an unwarranted disaster and asked Harry to stop the disaster. However, this does not mean that Xuan intends to let it go, especially when Delaco uttered the word mudblood. Although it is like a child arguing and swearing, it does not mean that Xuan will put up with him.
Roll.
So Xuan said coldly to Delaque. But how could Delaque, a child spoiled by his family, be told away by such a simple sentence from Xuan? Even because Xuan didn't do what he said, he became even more angry. For such spoiled children, Xuan naturally has a way to subdue them, which is to scare them into fear. Let me tell you, I am the sole heir of the Malfoy family of the holy 28 pureblood families. Malfoy hadn't noticed the coming of the crisis yet, and was still proudly showing his sense of superiority to Xuan. Didn't you hear me when I said get lost? This time Xuan stood up directly and said to the Malfoy trio, although the voice was not loud. But this time the power displayed by Xuan instantly frightened Malfoy so much that his mind went blank, and all he wanted to say was gone. Swallow it back, not only him, but the tall and burly Gore and Crawl standing behind him were also pale with fright. With this book sword, they felt that the one standing in front of them was not Xuan, but a mighty fire dragon roaring ferociously at them.
What?
Looking at Marco and the others who were frightened and fled, Xuan sat back in his seat and smiled. Just now their feeling was not wrong, they were indeed facing a giant dragon. Just now Xuan used the might of the Ulank iron-bellied fire dragon in his own small world to scare them. Ordinary people, let alone attack in front of the fire dragon, whether they can stand still is still a problem. That kind of oppressive feeling from high-end creatures. Xuan had already kept his hand, and only borrowed 1/10 of his power. Otherwise, the only son of the Malfoy family would be frightened out of his psychological shadow, and there would be a lot of shit to talk about. Of course, Xuan is not afraid, but he also finds it troublesome. Now that he does not have the strength to fight against the entire British magic world, he still needs to be a bit more cautious. Not only Malfoy and the others were scared and fled, but Hermione and Neville, who were sitting aside, even if they were not feeling the power of the fire dragon, were also scared enough, like the toad Riff, who just stuck out his tongue and pretended to be dead.
Who?
It took the two little ones some time to recover, but this time there was more admiration and fear in their eyes looking at Xuan. But Hermione was Hermione, and there was a reason why she ended up being sorted into Gryffindor instead of La Claw, who seemed a better fit for her. Xuan, the way you were angry just now is so scary. Not only that arrogant guy felt it, but I also seem to see that you look like a giant dragon. Seeing Hermione jumping up and down beside her, Xuan smiled. As long as she wasn't frightened, she was still so lively. And Neville on the side was also full of admiration. Ha ha ha, it's nothing. In fact, your feelings are right. I am particularly interested in magical animals in the magical world, so I will study some of their habits and the like. Like just now, I imitated Long Way of the Ulank Iron Belly Fire Dragon, so I have this kind of power. It's amazing. I didn't expect wizards to be like dragons. Xuan, can you tell us something about magical animals? For the sake of the righteousness of the two little guys just now, Xuan did not refuse them, but chatted with them after closing the door of the carriage that had just been violently opened. What Xuan didn't know was that in the corridor of the carriage, which was in the blind spot of his vision, the senior with silver hair that he met as soon as he got on the train was watching with a magic wand. She has been watching since Delaco took Crabbe and Goyle to open the door violently, because it happened to be her turn to be on duty, so she saw all this in her eyes. I have to say that Xuan's dragon power exuding fire dragons just now really shocked her. But compared to Della, who was so scared that she was so frightened that she froze and panicked, her performance was undoubtedly much better, subconsciously holding a magic wand if you want to fight back. Fortunately, Xuan not only controlled the level of Longway, but also controlled the range. If she was farther away, she might not be able to feel it. At that moment, she really thought that she was facing a fire dragon, but luckily, the next moment her reason told her that it was not. Imitate the might of Wulank's Iron Belly Charmander, fantastic animal lover. This little boy is really getting more and more interesting, mysterious, as if covered with a veil, my little Xuan. Don't ask how she can stand so far away and still hear Xuan's words. It's just a small curse, not worth mentioning. She turned around and continued to patrol. She will spend a lot of time with Xuan in the future, don't worry about this moment. Sometimes she will take off Xuan's veil of mystery. Do the kids want to buy something? At this time, the salesman on the train knocked on the door suddenly, opened it, and asked Xuan if they needed to buy some candy during the long journey. Calculate how much money is on the trolley, I want it all. Xuan said very proudly. The saleswoman is also very happy. The more she sells, the more her commission will be. So are all the little wizards getting rich recently? A total of 4 gold galleons and 11 silver sickles. Seeing that the other party gave the answer without counting at all, Xuan looked at the other party in doubt. With the bad math of wizards, shouldn't they be able to calculate so quickly? Oh, there is a kid in front who also asked for a cart of candy, which is exactly the same, so I don't need to do the calculation again. Seeing Xuan's doubts, the ant explained. After saying this, Xuan understood that he was the last carriage, and he was able to buy the whole trolley of snacks so boldly. It must be Harry after all. Harry in the wizarding world followed in the ordinary world. He is completely different. As he inherited the Potter family's treasury, he is not short of money. Don't forget that the Potter family is the shampoo family in the wizarding world, and it is basically monopolized by the Potter family. When watching movies in the previous life, everyone felt that Snape's greasy hair was largely due to his reluctance to use shampoo from the rival family. Of course, Xuan thinks that another guess is more in line with the specific situation, that is, people want to please themselves. After Lily Evans passed away, there is no one in the world who makes him worthy of dressing up. You must know that Snape was also the same when he was young. A little meat. Xuan, we can't finish eating so many snacks you bought, and eating so many sweets can easily cause tooth decay. Seeing Xuan, who bought all the snacks on the Whole Foods trolley, and Xuan, who started to tell them to start eating, Hermione began to say, after all, she came from a family of dentists, and she still pays great attention to the health of teeth. It doesn't matter. It's okay to eat some for a long time, not for a long time, and I didn't say that I can eat it all at once. If I can't finish it, I can take it to Hogwarts. Who knows if there is a store in the school to buy such snacks? Be prepared, well, you both pick some and I'll put the rest away. As for whether there is a small shop in Hogwarts, Xuan naturally knows that there is no such thing, so it is not too much to buy a small cart this time. Freshmen have nothing to do with it. Of course, Xuan can also secretly go to Hogsmeade Village to buy them through secret passages, but before that you need to cover yourself. Many times, many things are clearly separated by a layer of window paper, even if it is broken. But there is a completely different difference between having this layer of paper and not having this layer of paper. Just like having that layer of film and not having that layer of film are two different things. A completely different concept, right? Okay, then let's pick some, but Xuan, you're so rich. I dare not use the galleons I exchanged at Gringotts Bank. Professor McGonagall told me to prepare for buying books in the future. Yes, now, do you know Professor McGonagall? Well, the little girl's chatterbox skill has been turned on again, but the movements of her hands have not stopped. After all, no matter how mature she is still just a child. As long as she is a child, she can't resist the temptation of snacks, let alone being bullied at home. Hermione is very strict. After getting along for a while, Neville was no longer so restrained in front of Xuan. Knowing that Xuan and Hermione really regarded him as a friend, he took the first step bravely and reached out to take the same thing. Candy, because although Neville had no friends before, he had seen other children sharing delicious food with each other. But Neville didn't want Xuan and Hermione to feel greedy, so they just took one. Only now did he realize that he should have bought all the candies before Xuan opened his mouth just now, not to grab Xuan's limelight, but he felt that he should invite them by himself. Just eat and drink. Don't look at Neville's appearance, but he is also a little local tyrant. His grandma also gave him a lot of galleons, so he can buy the full price of a cart of snacks like just now. At such a young age, you don't need installments to buy so many things, and you can pay for it in full, which is really enviable. But Xuan wasn't envious. Now he can be said to be richer than Naue, even the entire Longbottom family. Take a few more, don't be so polite. Seeing that Neville only took a pot cake, which is very popular among wizards, Xuan thought he was embarrassed. So he grabbed a few good-looking snacks from the food trolley and stuffed them into his arms. That's right, Xuan even bought a food trolley for an extra sickle. For the rest, Xuan took a look at what Hermione and Neville had chosen and picked some that they didn't choose and put them on the table. Then with a wave of his hand, all the snacks and food trolleys in front of him disappeared. Wow. Seeing Xuan disappearing the snacks and trolley in an instant, Hermione looked at him in surprise. But Neville on the side was not like her. because he had seen such scenes at home, so he could roughly see Xuan should have used an item that had been cast with the traceless stretching spell. Xuan, how did you do it? Hermione, there is a magic in the wizarding world called the untraceable stretching curse, which can be cast on objects. Xuan knew that he had aroused the other party's curiosity again, and it would be good to teach the cute little witch if he had nothing to do, so he told her about the untraceable stretching curse. At the same time, I took out the necklace hanging on the neck and showed it for a while. The pendant hanging at the bottom of the necklace was indeed cast by Xuan with the no-trace stretching curse. Although the volume is not very large, it was used by Xuan to make its small world cover is perfectly adequate. Not only the necklace, but also his suitcase and handbag. It didn't cost much. During this year, Xuan continued to practice the magic spell he mastered with the elixir transformed by the 5-element spirit formation in the small world. Not to mention anything else, if the black wizard from a year ago came to trouble Xuan again, Xuan would definitely not need to use the Xiantian 5-element spirit pagoda, and he would not be so embarrassed. At this moment, a loud voice suddenly came from the other end of the carriage, attracting everyone's attention. Many little wizards even ran over to watch, and Hermione was no exception. Don't underestimate the curiosity of a Gryffindor. Heart. As for Xuan, he stayed in the carriage with Neville. One was not interested, and the other was that there were too many people and he was a little socially afraid, so he didn't go. Because Xuan was here, although the passive talent was not turned on, Toad Rifle still preferred to stay in the carriage. So there was no such thing as the toad being lost, and Hermione took Neville to look for it. Xuan didn't go to eat melons, Hermione went anyway, just come back later and ask her, but he focused on the snacks he just bought. The first is the Bibi multi-flavored bean, which is said to be an adventure in every bite. For such a snack, Xuan stays away from it and he will never eat it. Don't ask why if you ask, it means that Xuan feels that he is definitely not the Emperor of Europe. Bibi multi-flavored bean has developed to the present, and there are dozens of flavors, 4 categories, 3 of which are relatively normal. The first is fruits and vegetables: eggplant, olives, overcooked cabbage, squash, bean sprouts, tomatoes, spinach, etc. The second is fish and shrimp meat: bacon, beef chowder, chicken, ham, prawns, salmon, sardines, bouillabaisse, etc. The third is other broad categories, including chocolate, cheese, pepper, mushrooms, toast, sherry, mint hard candy, coffee, toffee, and so on. In fact, the above are nothing. If it is only these 3 categories, Xuan will not refuse at all. The problem lies in the 4th category. Xuan has always felt that the 4th category of Bibi-do is superfluous. It's against humanity. The 4th category is the non-food category. There are only 4 types, but each is more disgusting than the same. Soap, booger, earwax, vomit. Well, I don't want to eat it after reading it, let alone taste it myself. Xuan doesn't know what Bertie Bott, the inventor of Bibi's multi-flavored beans, thinks, adding such a flavor. Are you afraid that Bibi multi-flavored beans will sell well? Anyway, Xuan has no interest in this at all. There are so many other snacks. Why must he make himself uncomfortable? For example, the candy that Xuan is holding in his hand is similar to a magic wand, the licorice magic wand, also known as the licorice magic wand. From the name, it can be seen that it has a licorice flavor. There is also Chewy Bao Super Bubble Gum, which should be the most expensive snack Xuan bought this time, priced at 2 silver sickles. Why is blowing treasure super bubble gum so expensive? Because this kind of bubble gum can make people blow out bluebell-colored bubbles, and this bubble can float in the room for several days without breaking. Then there's pink coconut sorbet in shiny pink cubes, pumpkin pie that tastes like a Cornish mince pie but filled with pumpkin, and chocolate balls filled with strawberry jelly and custard cubes. All kinds of snacks have really opened up a new world for Xuan. Although the variety is not as many as in the world of science and technology, they are all weird, and it is really easy to satisfy people's curiosity. And Xuan likes to eat snacks before and after time travel, otherwise he wouldn't have changed from a handsome guy to a chubby man before time travel. But the snacks are delicious, but they are a bit thirsty. Xuan took out a pot of watermelon juice from the small world, and even put ice cubes in the watermelon juice extravagantly. The watermelon is naturally the watermelon grown by Xuan in the small world. Juicing is just a matter of thought, and the ice cubes are taken from the refrigerator. Xuan, who is in a small world, is not afraid of being hungry and thirsty at all. After Xuan poured a glass of iced watermelon juice for himself and Neville, he drank the whole glass of watermelon juice in one gulp. This feeling is really refreshing. Neville, who was sipping from the cup over there, was full of envy in his eyes. When will he be able to show himself bravely like Xuan? Although September in England is no longer hot, even a bit cold, but such a sip of ice-cold watermelon juice is very comfortable. As for what is bad for the stomach and the body is uncomfortable. Sorry, after awakening your magic power and becoming a wizard, as long as you don't die directly, you can basically be saved. Xuan gave himself another full glass of watermelon juice, and this time he sipped it. As expected of a watermelon grown in a small world, this juice tastes refreshing and sweet, sweeter than watermelon juice with honey, but not overly sweet. The smooth taste in the mouth is better than 99% of the watermelons on the market. Watermelon juice, Xuan, did you take it out? At this time, Hermione, the melon-eating reporter in front of her, also came back and saw an extra small table with steaming watermelon juice on it, which should be Xuan's masterpiece if nothing else. Unlike adults, children don't have so many ideas. Xuan actually owns a necklace that casts the no-trace stretching charm, so it's perfectly normal to store things in it, although watermelon juice is a bit strange. But maybe Xuan likes drinking watermelon juice so much that he always takes it with him wherever he goes. Xuan also bought a cup for the other party. Looking at the sweat on the other party's forehead, he knew that this trip to eat melons was not so easy. Thank you. Hermione, who just came back, was very thirsty and she was also stuffy. She licked her lips after drinking it. This watermelon juice is quite delicious, better than the one I drank at home, but it may be because I am too thirsty up. So what happened over there? Seeing Hermione come over slowly, Xuan asked. And when Xuan asked, Neville over there also pricked up his ears to listen. After all, he was also very curious. After listening to what Hermione said, Xuan can only say that Draco Malfoy is really a brat through and through. The movement this time was made between Della and Harry. After Della was beaten by Xuan just now, the more he thought about it after returning, the more unhappy he became. After all, he has never been so embarrassed. But he didn't dare to ask him to trouble Xuan again, but he kept choking and felt very uncomfortable. Xuan couldn't be provoked, so of course there were other things that could be provoked. The ordinary student Della didn't intend to find them. Thinking of the famous savior Harry Potter, it seemed a good choice to use him to vent his anger. As for why not choose to be friends? That's because the two of them met before in Madame Malkin's robe shop in Diagon Alley, but Draco's arrogant attitude reminded Harry of his cousin Dudley. So of course he had a bad impression of Draco. Since you don't accept my solicitation, then you are my deadly enemy. That's right, Della's brain circuit is so fresh and refined. This time with Crabbe and Gore and Xuan, who just got angry with him, and his attitude became even worse, and Ron, a guy who was looked down upon by Della, was there. It was normal for a few people to quarrel. If it was just a quarrel, of course there would not be such a big commotion. The main reason is that they all got angry after talking and started fighting directly. 2 on 3, the number is not dominant, and the thin and weak Harry and Ron are at most similar to Della, but they are far behind Crabbe and Goyle. So Harry and Ron were naturally at a disadvantage in the fight, but fortunately when Della and Harry started to quarrel, there were people watching from the sidelines, and when the fight broke out, they also hurried up to pull them away. So Harry and Ron were a little bit embarrassed, but they were not injured, and Hermione came back without looking at the rest. Although he was very interested in the legendary savior Harry Potter, seeing him like this was not a good time to chat. And the other party had just had a fight with Della and their children. And comparing the 3 of Della's embarrassed looks in front of Xuan, Hermione couldn't believe that the thin, frail little boy with glasses and ill-fitting clothes in front of her was the legendary savior. If they didn't know in advance, if Xuan and Harry Potter were singled out and compared, everyone would think that Xuan was the legendary savior, because Xuan's image and temperament perfectly matched their imagination of the savior. The legendary second generation of black magic, Voldemort Tom Riddle, was really unimaginable to be defeated by someone like Harry. Of course, this was also because many people didn't know the doorway inside. Voldemort said he was defeated by Harry, but in fact, it was better to say he was defeated by his mother's love. But in order to whitewash the piece and cheer people up, it was natural to announce that Voldemort was defeated by a child. In this way, people's fear of Voldemort would definitely be reduced a lot. At the same time, a savior will be created to make wizards full of strength. Even if Voldemort returns again in the future, the savior Harry Potter will still be there. If he can beat you once, then naturally there will be a second and third time. He can kill you when he was a baby, let alone after he grows up. If it was advertised that Voldemort was killed by rebounding Lily Evans' wand, it wouldn't have worked so well. Lily Evans is also dead, so what if Voldemort is reborn again in the future? So Xuan speculates that this is the source of the title of Harry Potter's savior, which was created under the joint operation of the first White Wizard Dumbledore and the Ministry of Magic. By the way, Xuan, what does the boy who came to trouble us in front of us mean by the mudblood? Xuan didn't expect Hermione to ask this question suddenly, originally thought that this question had already been skipped. Xuan couldn't help but exchanged glances with Neville over there. Although Neville was a little cowardly, he knew the meaning of the word mudblood. Of course Hermione knows that the word mudblood is not a good word, otherwise Xuan would not have been so annoyed just now, but she still wants to know what it means, not for anything else, at least she can know what the other person is talking about when she is scolded well. As for being angry, although Hermione was a little angry, she wasn't as sad as in the original timeline. After all, Della just came here mainly for Xuan, and secondly, Xuan didn't really care about his appearance just now and directly scared the crap out of him. Seeing Hermione like this, Xuan organized his language a little bit. Although he didn't care that Della said he was a mudblood, but Hermione was still young, so it would definitely make her uncomfortable to be said that. Because of his wand. After thinking for a while, Xuan said, Hermione, the word mudblood is not a good word in the wizarding world. It means a wizard whose parents are both ordinary people, and it has the meaning of insult and discrimination. From the word mud, it can be seen that they look down on this kind of wizards, especially those pure-blooded wizards, so-called pure-blooded wizards whose parents are descendants of wizards. Like that guy just now is from the Malfoy family of pure-blood wizards, and that platinum blonde hair is the best proof of the Malfoy family. This word is actually a very vicious word, and only someone who hates others would say such a thing, and that Mr. Malfoy, a spoiled child, thought it would be interesting to use this as a mantra. But it's just a performance of being strong on the outside and doing everything in the middle. Hearing Xuan's words, Hermione understood and said, Is this nothing more than pure blood theory? Xuan was surprised to hear the word purity from Hermione's mouth. After all, this word represented the idea of the noseless socket man or the idea of the Dark Lords. Of course, Hermione also saw the surprise in Xuan's eyes and felt a little bit of pride in her heart. After all, since she knew him, this was the first time she saw Xuan showing such a look, and it was because of herself. I bought some books when I was in Diagon Alley and read some theories from them. Well, it's Hermione. Xuan continued. Since this is the case, then you should understand that wizards are composed of pure-blood wizards, half-blood wizards, and wizards from ordinary people like us.
Wait.
Xuan, you are also a wizard born from an ordinary person. Hearing this, Hermione suddenly interrupted Xuan's words. Although she knew it was impolite, she couldn't hold back. Apart from the surprise on her face, Hermione also had a hint of joy that she didn't realize. Neville, who was listening quietly, also looked at Xuan in surprise. Although he knew from Xuan's name that the other party was not a pure-blood wizard, he thought that the other party was a half-blood wizard, but it turned out not to be. But Xuan has such a temperament and can have such a magical wand reincarnation, and just now, how can he be a muggle-born wizard? Then I understand, Xuan, you must be an ancient oriental nobleman, right? At this moment, Hermione came up with another idea. After all, Xuan is so temperamental, and he is not short of money just now. No, you're still guessing wrong. I'm an orphan. As for why I spend so much money, it's not because I'm pretending to be taken advantage of. It's because I have a small business in the real world, so I'm not short of money. There was no need for Hermione to ask more. Xuan could see what she wanted to ask, so he simply answered it all at once.
Sorry,
Xuan waved his hand, expressing to the apologetic little girl that he doesn't care. After all, the background of a time traveler is standard. Hermione and Neville really didn't expect Xuan's background to be like this. It can only be said that Xuan's temperament and appearance are too deceptive. But looking at Xuan's appearance, she really didn't care. Hermione also breathed a sigh of relief, but secretly remembered not to ask similar questions in the future. Okay, let's talk about it just now, Xuan continued. So the word mudblood is a kind of contempt for pure-blood wizards towards other wizards. In their view, except for pure-blood wizards, other wizards are not worthy of being called wizards, or pure-blood wizards should be superior to others. Just like Hermione, the pure-blood theory you just mentioned, but not all pure-blood wizards have this concept. Only some pure-blood wizards have it. In fact, whether it is a wizard of pure blood, mixed blood, or ordinary people, the starting point of every wizard is the same, even if their family gives them some help. But the power of a wizard cannot be determined by money, so Hermione, you don't worry too much. Xuan's words are naturally somewhat biased. After all, although money cannot directly enhance the wizard's strength, it can buy countless resources for the wizard. But at this time, in order to build Hermione's self-confidence, Xuan will not be so stupid to say such a thing talk. As for what to do if you know later, that's okay. At that time, Hermione had discovered that relying on herself, she could far surpass other wizards. Her results were the best proof. Furthermore, not all pureblood families are as arrogant and conceited as the Malfoy family. There are also quite a few pureblood families who are good. For example, Neville is a member of the pureblood family Longbottom. Hearing Xuan's words, Hermione looked at Neville, and Neville couldn't help shrinking into the corner of the chair with that gaze. Because Hermione meant that he didn't expect that you, a guy with thick eyebrows and big eyes, came from a pure-blood family. Wizards from pure-blood families are not uncommon in the wizarding world, and you have even come into contact with quite a few. Except for Neville, the little red-haired wizard you saw with Harry Potter just now is from the Weasley family. Weasley, the hallmark of the family, is red hair. In addition, Master Ollivander, the Wand Master, is also a pure-blood wizard, so pure-blood wizard is just a title. Just like the atmosphere in human beings is black, white, and yellow according to the skin color, and there are good and bad people in every race.
Cudgel to death.
Now Hermione's understanding of the wizarding world is still in its infancy, so Xuan hopes that she can think with dialectical thinking. If you have read the relevant books, you must know that the so-called pure-blooded Holy 28 families actually just refer to a wizard or wizard family with pure or almost pure wizard blood. Although the setting of the wizarding pure-blood family has obvious characteristics of real aristocrats, it does not mean that the pure-blood wizarding family is a nobleman in the magic world. This is just a way of dividing family trees and blood. Hermione didn't know why Xuan, who came from the same background as herself, knew so much about wizards. Didn't she see that even Neville, who was born as a pure-blood wizard, was listening to Xuan's popular science seriously? After all, such knowledge is rarely mentioned by wizards. In fact, in the eyes of people like Xuan, the Hogwarts education method is very problematic, or the education method of the entire wizarding world is problematic. But Xuan has not changed his mind. Because for him now it is a thankless task, it is easy to offend people and there is no big gain. Xuan's primary goal now is to develop the small world and collect magical animals. This is the right way. However, will the little wizards born in pure-blood families be much better than us? Although I learned a few magic spells by myself during the holidays, they are so far ahead of us. With the help of family members, we can keep up with them. Pace. I have to say that entering a new field, new environment, new knowledge, unfamiliar teachers and friends puts a lot of pressure on Hermione, a sensitive little girl. Otherwise, Xuan would not have been caught asking so many questions. That is to say, Xuan showed her erudition in front of her, and at the same time she was easy to talk to. Coupled with the addition of good looks and temperament, her favorability with Hermione gradually increased. Don't worry, you have to be more confident, believe in yourself, not just Neville, you are the same compared with other little wizards. You are also very outstanding, smart, and diligent. Don't think that little wizards born in wizarding families have little education before entering Hogwarts. In order to restrict young wizards from using magic indiscriminately, their wands are only allowed to be purchased at Ollivander's wand shop when they are old. Moreover, the little wizard is also a child, so it is difficult to settle down to study. The elders in the family can only pass on some knowledge. If you don't believe me, you can ask Neville to see how he is with the little wizard he knows. Neville didn't expect that he would be lied to by Xuan after learning. But now at least he doesn't stutter so much in front of Xuan and Hermione, and he has made great progress. What he didn't know was that this was Xuan's intention. For this little fat man, blindly encouraging him is useless, but to make him act more and show more so that he can build up his self-confidence bit by bit. Brother Xuan is right. Little wizards I know rarely learn magic before school starts. I don't know when it started, but Neville suddenly started to call Xuan his brother. There is no way Xuan's mature way of doing things, profound knowledge, and talkative personality all give people a feeling of trust and reliability, which is not at all like is the same age. And after talking about his birthday, Xuan is naturally older than him, so there is nothing wrong with calling him a brother. While listening to Neville's words, Xuan tested his own guesses. It had to be said that although that man was weak, he was usually very good at observing things because of his sensitive personality. Just as Xuan expected, in the wizarding world, there are all kinds of training for young wizards. Just look at Hogwarts to know the education level of the British wizarding world. And wizards are easily influenced by magic power, and England itself advocates the so-called happy education. It is really difficult for wizard parents to teach their children. Just look at what happened to Neville when he was a child. Immortality and survival are the only criteria. Oh, there is also the need to awaken magic power, and everything else is gone. After hearing Neville's summary of the education situation in the wizarding world, Hermione finally breathed a sigh of relief. According to Neville, she really doesn't need to worry too much. Woo woo woo. The Hogwarts Express train has been swaying forward, starting at around 10 o'clock in the morning, but it was getting dark before it was ready to arrive at Hogwarts. After lunch at noon, this time it was naturally the Huxia food that Xuan made from his own small world, but it opened the eyes of Hermione and Neville. In order to suit the taste of Hermione and Neville, the dishes that Xuan brought out were sweet and light, such as sweet and sour pork tenderloin, fried tofu stuffed meat, and so on. Of course, Hermione and Neville's family also asked them to bring food, sandwiches, and rice balls, and they simply used them as staple foods. Although the combination is a bit strange, don't waste food. It's easy to get sleepy when you're full, not to mention that everyone got up early this morning to drive, and at this age I'm still a little sleepy. I can't do any activities on the train, even if the scenery outside is nice. I will get tired of looking at it for a long time, so there is so much to talk about. In such a boring environment, Xuan and the three of them began to feel sleepy. Sitting and sleeping is of course uncomfortable, and it looks like there are still a few hours to go, really sitting and sleeping, until Hogwarts guarantees that you don't want your neck and feet to be sore. Don't ask Xuan how he knew when he was in college in his previous life. He only had the bus to go home, and after sitting in the bus for 4 or 5 hours, his whole body was not sore or numb without any pain. Although it is very happy to go home, the journey home is not so happy. Sitting is uncomfortable, so it is naturally comfortable to lie down and sleep, but there are 2 benches in the carriage, one on the left and one on the right, which are so narrow that they can only accommodate 2 people. Of course, 3 people are not acceptable, even if one hugs the other, you know me mean. But it doesn't matter, our Tinker Bell Xuan has a trick. 2 benches are not enough, isn't 3 enough? Xuan took out a foldable office bed from the Small World warehouse, put it in the middle and unfolded it. Wouldn't the problem be solved? He even took out 3 blankets and 3 pillows. Don't ask where they came from. He stuffed all kinds of messy things into Xuan's curry. The space is big enough, it's just so capricious. For this, Xuan spent millions of pounds. So Xuan's super large warehouse can ensure that he can live a beautiful life on a deserted island for several years. In order to prevent other people from disturbing them, Xuan also locked the door of the carriage and placed the folding bed in the middle. This is of course Xuan's position, and the chairs on the left and right are Hermione and Neville's territory. With pillows and blankets under their heads, the 3 of Xuan slept comfortably. Of course, Xuan was very vigilant and secretly released a bird and snake to help out. A bird and snake that looked like a small snake nestled beside Xuan's pillow, and neither Hermione nor Neville noticed it. And the little wizards who had been rambunctious all morning also felt a little tired. When they passed by and saw Xuan and the others sleeping so soundly, they felt drowsy for a while. Slowly, the whole train fell silent, except for a few prefects who were arranged. Most of the other little wizards fell into sleep. Only this train is still moving forward at an even speed. Dirty, dirty pants, 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 pants. As night fell, the train was getting closer and closer to Hogwarts. Xuan and the others were woken up by the shouts of the prefects. Because we are going to Hogwarts soon, we need to wake everyone up, especially the freshmen, and let them change into the robes they bought from Mrs. Malkin and dress uniformly. After a while, they will be the most beautiful cubs in Hogwarts to be sorted. I have to say that it is comfortable to lie down and sleep. It is indeed a beautiful thing to take a nap in such a cool weather, especially when I wake up and find a certain loli who fell asleep and ran to my side. Hold your own arm. Hermione, who was folding the blanket, felt her face was extremely hot. Why did she run to people's side when she fell asleep? It should be that she usually hugs her doll to sleep at home and then feels what is around her when she is not used to falling asleep. The thing just hugged. Xuan's folding bed was about the same height as the bench, that's why it was like this, but Neville's sleeping position over there was pretty good, curled up and obediently curled up in place. As for the bird and snake next to the pillow, why didn't you remind Xuan? I'm sorry, Xuan's order is dangerous or reminded when someone wants to mistreat him. Will sleeping Hermione cause any harm to Xuan? That is of course impossible, so it is perfectly normal for the bird and snake not to remind. What's more, although the bird snake is a trainee who has only practiced for 1 year, it is not stupid. Will its owner reject such behavior? Will waking him up yourself get his approval? In this regard, the earliest bird snake just wants to say something to other people. No, it should be to other younger brothers and sisters. Sometimes EQ is more important than IQ. The rivers and lakes are not about fighting and killing, but more about people's sophistication. It can only be said that you are still young and young. Birds and snakes even dare to pat their chests to make sure that if they do this by themselves, the master will not only not scold themselves, but will also reward themselves. Don't believe me, just wait and see. Li Xuan put blankets, pillows, folding beds, and birds and snakes into the small world. The birds and snakes guarded them all afternoon, and Li Xuan naturally would not treat it badly. Li Xuan promised the bird snake this time to reward it with a grilled fish, and the bird snake knew it well. It was the owner's praise for his good behavior in the afternoon. So my thoughts and guesses are correct. Bird snake proudly returned to the small world to pass on his experience to his younger brothers and sisters. Li Xuan didn't know that the birds and snakes he raised had so many tricks in their hearts. Although he knew that the magical animals would become much smarter after staying in the small world for a long time and absorbing a lot of spiritual energy, but he didn't expect it to reach this level. Li Xuan pulled Neville out first, and when going out he helped Hermione close the curtain and the door of the carriage, leaving room for the girls to change. Seeing how considerate Li Xuan was, Hermione's affection for Li Xuan increased a lot. How could that girl reject such a caring and gentle handsome boy? Of course, the last point is more important, otherwise it will be useless no matter how well you do the first 2 points. Just like the famous saying that lied to Li Xuan during his compulsory education, genius is nothing but 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. But this famous saying is more than that. There is also the second half of the sentence. Genius is just 99% sweat plus 1% inspiration. But that 1% inspiration is the most important, even more important than 1%. 99 times of sweat is more important. So no matter how considerate and gentle you are, if you are not handsome, other girls will not feel for you. Sorry, you are not a gentleman but a dog lick. A few minutes later, Hermione opened the door. I have to say that Hermione is even cuter in a wizard robe, with those front teeth and fluffy hair. Very nice. I've changed my clothes, you go in and change too. Li Xuan and Neville have nothing to mind. They are both boys, can be regarded as reading countless men. Well, this achievement Li Xuan said he didn't really want it. After changing their clothes, Li Xuan and the others got out of the car in order, but before getting out of the car, Li Xuan glanced out through the window, took out a bag and put some things in it. We will need it later. Let's go. Li Xuan told Hermione and Neville that as for the luggage, Li Xuan and the others don't need to carry it. Someone will send it to Hogwarts, and it will be delivered to their dormitory accurately. In this regard, Li Xuan thinks it should be the credit of the house elves. There were only some changes of clothes and daily necessities in the suitcase, so Li Xuan didn't worry too much. If it was Newt's suitcase, Li Xuan would definitely keep it with him at all times. Hogwarts has reached the first year, come with me. Before Li Xuan and Hermione got out of the car, they heard Hagrid's rough voice. When Li Xuan got off the bus, he saw Hagrid standing there and yelling to the crowd. The first-year students had to follow Hagrid to go through the process, walking the way Hogwarts came. As for the old students in other grades, of course they don't need to, just go to school directly. Then I blow the evening wind that you blow, does it count as hugging? Forget it, this is close connection. I walked the road you walked, is this a meeting? Forget it, it belongs to the subclose. Turning the corner does not necessarily meet love but also an epidemic. Li Xuan was thinking about these bad things in his heart, and at the same time he followed the main force. Li Xuan and Hermione stayed at the back, and the front was of course Harry, who was closest to Hagrid and his good brother Ron. As for our other acquaintance, Mr. Della Comelfort, he obediently stayed in the middle. After all, there was Li Xuan behind, and the nasty Harry Potter in front, and now he was following that big guy. He was not foolish to seek abuse now. For first-year freshmen, they have to go this way. Li Xuan also knows why. The theme is nostalgia and gratitude. This road and 4 people in a boat later are all to commemorate the route that the Big Four of Hogwarts discovered Hogwarts took, which is similar to a kind of spiritual inheritance and gratitude. After getting off the train, night fell, coupled with the emptiness and the cold wind blowing. The little wizards who had been hiding in the carriage and had no sense of the weather changes instantly shrank their heads.
Take it.
Li Xuan took out 3 scarves from the bag and distributed one to Hermione and Neville. Just before getting out of the car, he opened the window to feel the temperature. Wearing a wizard robe, although the body is not cold, the feeling of the wind coming in from the neck is not good. Thanks. Hermione and Neville didn't try to be brave. After all, the wind was really cold, and the envious eyes of others were also very refreshing. As for the others, the 2 of them silently kept them in their hearts. Although they only knew each other for a short day, Li Xuan really took care of them. But what they don't know is that this is just some habit of an adult going out. Although Li Xuan was not married and had no children in his previous life, he must be fully prepared when going out. Li Xuan also put a belt around himself. Although his body is not afraid of the wind, why should he bear it? Hogwarts was some distance away from the Black Lake where the boat was taken. After leaving the station, the light here gradually dimmed. Hogwarts did not plan to install street lights here. Although this road is walked once a year, walking once a year does not make this road so smooth and easy to walk. On the contrary, maybe the vegetation growing here, in order to make it more difficult for the young wizards, some either quietly extended the roots to the end of the road, or simply took root in this year. Although he will be stepped on, it is not bad to be able to knock down one or two little wizards. After all, his life has meaning. Xuan, who was walking behind, saw that the little wizard in front kept tripping and tripping. Hermione didn't notice that she stepped on a small hole just now. If Xuan hadn't pulled her, she might have been one of them. Xuan laughed, hee. The situation may be very different this year with me here. I took out something from the bag that contained the scarf just now. Hermione and Neville were surprised just now. After the scarf was taken out of the bag, there was obviously something in it. What is it that is so precious that you should always keep it with you and put it in the suitcase? Wouldn't it be good to send it to the dormitory? But when Xuan took the things out of the paper bag, he put the paper bag directly into the small world. Under the dim light, no one noticed except Hermione and Neville, who were nearby. There is no time to pay attention to others at this time. I am too busy to take care of myself. If I am not careful, I will be the next one to fall to the ground. Hermione looked at the thing in Xuan's hand. It seemed to be a flashlight. But this flashlight is a bit strange. It is different from what I have seen before. Seeing that Neville and Hermione were curiously looking at the flashlight he was holding, Xuan didn't hide it and turned on the switch directly. For a moment, everyone felt that their eyes were blurred and they couldn't see anything. In addition to Xuan, a ghostly fellow, there were also Hermione and Neville, who were told by Xuan to close their eyes for a few seconds, because the brightness suddenly changed and the eyes did not have time to adjust. But after their eyes got used to it, everyone was very happy, because the road in front of them has become bright, and this time they no longer have to be afraid of being tripped. Which kind-hearted person did it? But when these little wizards were going to look back from the front, they were dazzled by the lights behind them, so they didn't dare now, but they were still very happy. Not to mention that it seemed to have rained here just now. There would definitely be a lot of mud spots on their bodies if they fell. They didn't want to look sloppy as soon as they entered school. Especially boys, if they are really in such a mess, they will definitely lose the right to choose a spouse for 7 years. Xuan is holding this flashlight that is half the size of a basketball, which is not light, just like the oversized flashlight that Xuan used to carry on patrol when he was on the construction site. In fact, in the future, the size of such a flashlight will be greatly reduced. Perhaps only the size of sugarcane, but limited by the current era, the volume and weight must be several grades larger, and the battery life is only more than 1 hour compared with future generations. Much worse than that. In addition, the brightness and range of light are also greatly reduced. Later generations, Xuan saw a flashlight that could illuminate a community, and Xuan finally knew what it means to be as bright as day. But it is still difficult to buy in the market like this. This is what Xuan specially told his subordinates to purchase. It is not cheap, and it cannot be bought without certain channels. But Xuan is now considered a capitalist in the technology world. In such a democratic country, it is natural to have money to be the master, and it is easier to say that money opens the way than anything else. Although it can only last for more than an hour, it is enough, and this road does not need to walk for more than an hour, only 10 or 20 minutes, otherwise the station will extend forward. Xuan played with the flashlight in his hand. This flashlight that turns night into day was something that I really wanted to buy in my previous life when I found it in a certain treasure, but after thinking about it, it was useless and it was not cheap, so I didn't buy it. But this time when I was preparing the preschool items, I suddenly remembered this flashlight, and this toy was brought by Xuan. In fact, it is not difficult to use the magic wand to flash the fluorescent light, which is more in line with the status of a wizard. But Xuan felt that it was more comfortable and relaxed, and it had a wider range of light, so it would be nice if it could help other little wizards with one stroke. The only one who is not happy is perhaps our Mr. Delacomelfort. After all, Xuan has gained such a big limelight, but he is not compared to him. But he didn't dare to ask Xuan to get the flashlight, so he could only sulking silently there. Xuan, is this a flashlight? Seeing that Hermione recognized the flashlight in his hand, Xuan was not surprised and nodded. And Hermione saw Neville's puzzled look, so she was a good teacher and took the initiative to introduce this thing to Neville, who had never seen a flashlight before. Not only Neville, but the other little wizards standing beside Xuan and the others were walking and listening. And everyone was very curious about things they hadn't seen before. Now he didn't have to look carefully at his feet and could concentrate on listening to Hermione's explanation. After walking a little further for 10 minutes, Xuan and the others finally came to the edge of the Black Lake. Looking at the vast black lake in front of them and the looming Hogwarts in the distance, all the little wizards stopped for a while. The words stared blankly at the shocking scene in front of them. Everyone get on the boat, 4 people in a small boat, hurry up. Hagrid's voice broke the contemplation of the little wizards, and everyone boarded the boat according to Hagrid's request. If there are acquaintances, they will make an appointment together, and if they don't, they can make a random combination. Like Xuan, the 3 of them naturally got together on the same boat, and there was also a future Gryffindor blasting ghost, Seamus Finnegan. The structure of the boat is that 1 person sits in the front and the back, 2 people sit in the middle, and there is an oil lamp. With Hermione's temperament, she naturally ran to the bow, so the stern belonged to Xuan with Neville and Seamus in the middle, and no one had any objection to this. Xuan looked at the black lake in front of him, and Xuan knew that there were giant squid, grindillo, and mermaid colonies living in the lake. The mermaids in Hogwarts are not the mermaids in fairy tales. The mermaids in fairy tales are the embodiment of beauty and kindness. If you want to have a beautiful love story with each other, it can only be said that your XP is more unique and different. But the mermaids here are intelligent creatures with a danger level of XXXX. They look like both humans and fish, but they are not half human and half beast. They are distributed all over the world. The appearance of mermaids is also different, and mermaids are divided into different subspecies or races according to the places where they live. According to Xuan's understanding, the earliest mermaids appeared in Greece and were called sirens. In modern times, mermaids living in warm waters had a more beautiful appearance, while those living in cold waters remained unchanged. Generally, mermaids in cold waters have iron-gray skin, long dark green unkempt hair, yellow eyes, and yellow incomplete teeth. They like to string pebbles around their necks. In fact, does it seem unreasonable to classify mermaids as magical animals? After all, mermaids have intelligence, and it can be said that their intelligence is higher than that of most animals. Mermaids also have their own language and a hobby, that is, music. At the same time, they have their own prosperous culture, living in highly organized communities, and some even make houses out of stone. In addition, mermaids will also cruise and inject creatures such as grindillo, horse-headed fish-tailed sea monster, and loba insects, and even use loba insects as weapons. They can also make jewelry, weapons, and create sculptures, etc. They can also pass gestures, complete communication. From this point of view, do you think that the mermaid is obviously a human? How can you classify the other party as a magical animal? Xuan also knows about this matter. The reason is that the mermaid declined the status of human and chose the status of beast. That is the reluctance of merfolk to share the same identity as banshees and vampires. Didn't expect that? It's not just you. Xuan also thought so when he saw it for the first time, saying that it was really an eye-opener. Xuan is not interested in mermaids, but giant squid and grindillo are interested. Now in his own small world, there are flying birds and snakes that can make cameo appearances, and there are many running on the ground. There is no water to swim in. No way, Xuan is a landlubber who can't swim. If there are aquatic magical animals, Xuan can still use the opponent's swimming skills at that time, and he is not afraid of drowning. It can even be said that he is like a fish in water. Xuan was thinking, but the boat was moving forward. It was powered by magic and did not require people to paddle. As the boats continued to move forward, the calm water surface of the Black Lake was broken by boats one after another. Looking at the Hogwarts buildings built on the mountain peaks, Xuan couldn't help being excited. Hogwarts, I'm coming. On a whim, Xuan couldn't help whistling. Neville, Hermione, and the others only thought the music was very pleasant, and it fit the temperament of Hogwarts very well. In this regard, Xuan said that it was natural, and he played exactly the Hedwig variations, which can be said to be tailor-made music for Hogwarts. Of course, there is also a Lockmute that is also very suitable, but it is a battle song. When playing such a BGM during the battle, Xuan feels that no one can beat himself in his own BGM. Every little wizard stared wide-eyed, looking greedily at Hogwarts in front of him. Is this where he will stay for 7 years in the future? So cool. The bright moon hangs high in the sky, illuminating a huge ancient castle, and the castle is brightly lit. This is like a magical castle in a fairy tale, which surprised all the little wizards. But at the speed of a small boat, it only takes a few minutes to cross the Black Lake, so even if the little wizards are reluctant, they still have to get off the boat. After getting off the boat, Hagrid counted the number of people again and found that there was no one missing. After everyone arrived at Hogwarts safely, they finally breathed a sigh of relief. After a while, I will hand over the little wizards to Professor McGonagall, and my mission will be successfully completed this time. Xuan looked at the tunnel above his head, which was a dark tunnel formed by ivy curtains, and this place should be below Hogwarts Castle. The boats were all moored in the dock, and Xuan and the freshmen followed Hagrid in the dock passage, which was a passage connecting the dock and Hogwarts, and freshmen entered Hogwarts through this passage every year. Walk out of the passageway of the dock and follow Hagrid up to the first floor, which was the first floor just now. Turning the stairs, Xuan saw Professor McGonagall wearing a wizard's pointed hat waiting there. As for Xuan's magical flashlight, it was directly taken back into the small world, and the little wizards were all attracted by Hogwarts and the next sorting ceremony, so naturally they would not pay attention to this. As for why he didn't put it away, Xuan knows that Professor McGonagall is a more serious professor, and he doesn't want to make himself a bad first impression. After all, he will have to learn more from this transfiguration master in the future. Woolen cloth. Professor McGonagall, freshmen all here. Hagrid greeted Professor McGonagall, handed the little wizard to Professor McGonagall, and left. Naturally, he would also enter the auditorium for the dinner. Welcome to Hogwarts. Professor McGonagall first welcomed the arrival of the little wizards, and then explained some precautions. That is, things about the sorting ceremony, and asked everyone to line up and wait, then turned and entered the auditorium. Because of Xuan, Neville's toad rifle did not disappear on the train and appear in front of Professor McGonagall. Xuan took advantage of this time to look at the entrance hall. There was a blazing torch on the stone wall, and there was a luxurious marble staircase extending upwards directly opposite the oak door. Xuan guessed that this should be the staircase leading to the second floor. In addition, the sharp-eyed Xuan also saw a door on the left and right sides of the stairs. Xuan, who has watched the movie, knew that the left door leads to the Slytherin common room, and the right door leads to Hufflepuff common room and kitchen. This is very important, especially knowing where the kitchen is, may be more important to Xuan than knowing where the classroom is. While Xuan was looking around, Draco Malfoy over there probably felt that there was something wrong with the way she got along with Harry on the Hogwarts Express before. But she also felt that a celebrity like Harry Potter should give some tolerance, so I stepped forward to chat with him again. As a result, the two broke up again, and Ron couldn't help laughing when he saw Della's appearance. Well, this ignited the anger in Della's heart. The savior Harry Potter and I can't get along, you poor Weasley dare to laugh at me. Influenced by his father, Lucius Malfoy, he was also full of disgust for Weasley, coupled with being ridiculed. He just used it as a target to vent his anger, and directly turned on the poisonous tongue mode, which was a crazy output to Ron. What Draco didn't know was that this would make him farther and farther away from Harry Potter, and his impression of him would become worse and worse. At this time, Xuan didn't have time to care about the elementary school students over their cursing and fighting, but was being pulled by the sleeve of the little girl Hermione to ask questions. Xuan, just now Ron said that his big brothers told him that the sorting ceremony was to fight the dragon. How could we beat the dragon? If it's the entrance exam, Hermione is not afraid at all. She read a lot during the summer vacation, but fighting the dragon. Whether it's the book I read during my vacation, or what Xuan said on the train, the word giant dragon means strength. How can I beat a little wizard who didn't go to school? Will I drop out of school because of this? Seeing that Hermione was about to cry, Xuan was speechless for a while and understood the evil taste of the Gryffindor twins, which showed Ron's miserable life at home. But this has nothing to do with Xuan. On the contrary, Ron said it in front of everyone, which made many young wizards feel sorry for him. Don't worry, the sorting ceremony at Hogwarts is not about fighting dragons. If that's the case, no little wizard will be able to enroll. It's just someone scaring you.
Oh, really?
Hermione looked at Xuan tearfully. Xuan nodded and continued to speak. Actually, the sorting ceremony is not as scary as you think. It is actually wearing the sorting hat, and the sorting hat will sort you according to your characteristics. The brave Gryffindor lion, the clever Lon Kelluo eagle, the kind Hufflepuff little badger, and the ambitious Slytherin little snake are roughly divided according to these characteristics. You should also understand the several animals I mentioned, that is representative animals of each college.
What?
Xuan tell us about the sorting hat. After hearing Xuan's words, Hermione finally didn't worry anymore, because Xuan's words were naturally more believable than Ron's words. Not only Hermione, but also other little wizards stopped making noise, and they all obediently listened to Xuan's words. They didn't think that Xuan would lie to them. After all, they were about to enter in a while. And Xuan would not lie at this time, and what Xuan said was well-founded. It didn't seem like he was just making up. As for Ron, that's just what he heard, and it's normal to be incorrect. Xuan looked around at the little wizards. It seemed that the wicked tradition of not revealing to the little wizards what the sorting ceremony was an unspoken rule that the entire English wizarding community followed. Is this because I was frightened by my seniors, and I also want to frighten my juniors? Seeing that he had become a center for little wizards for a while, Xuan had no choice but to recall the information about the sorting hat. After all, waiting is boring, so let's teach these little wizards a lesson. Neither Xuan nor the other little wizards realized that Xuan had naturally become the leader of everyone. He had a special quality and a charm. This is composed of many aspects. The first is the soul of Xuan's previous life, which makes him naturally show a more mature temperament than others. The second is the addition of Xuan's appearance and temperament. The third one is the passive bonus given to Xuan by the beast spirit orb. He is born with a good impression. Human beings are animals too. The sorting hat is a thoughtful pointed wizard hat. It can decide which of the 4 colleges each new student should go to. As for why it can tell which college each little wizard is most suitable for, it is naturally desirable. The sorting hat is a hat used by Godric Gryffindor during his lifetime. Yes, it is the founder of Gryffindor Academy. In order to facilitate the sorting of the little wizards of Hogwarts, the 4 founders of Hogwarts injected their own ideas into it. This created the magical sorting hat. In a way, the little wizards of each college are actually the choices of the 4 founders. After all, their thoughts are in the sorting hat. The little wizards didn't expect that the sorting hat actually contained the thoughts of the 4 founders of Hogwarts. So the sorting hat is indeed very precious. Seeing the longing looks of the little wizards, Xuan smiled. You don't think the sorting hat is too lofty, so let me break your illusions. The sorting hat is not as good as you imagined. You must know that it has been 1,000 years since the sorting hat was made. No matter what it is not worth mentioning in front of time, even the sorting hat. In these 1,000 years, the sorting hat will naturally not change at all. This sorting hat has been through many vicissitudes, and now it has become tattered, dirty, and full of pudding. Maybe one of you can cast a cleaning spell on it later. By the way, the sorting hat can talk and sing. Although the singing is not very good, the crack near the brim of the hat will open like a mouth when he speaks. When they heard that the sorting hat was in tatters, the little wizards still looked like kings. But later, when they learned that the sorting hat could still talk, their interest in the sorting hat came up again. And Xuan's words of casting a cleansing spell on the sorting hat were also remembered by several young wizards, especially our drag brother Draco Malfoy. Because in his opinion, such a heroic move was undoubtedly prepared for himself. He might not know other advanced spells, but he would still know a simple cleansing spell. Just when Xuan started to explain, the quarrel between Della and Harry had stopped. After all, one was curious and the other was more interested in Xuan. Xuan, can you tell me a little more about the situation of the 4 colleges? Hermione also wanted to know more about the 4 Hogwarts houses, and which one she would be more suited to. Gryffindor students are the epitome of bravery, and it is their daring, boldness, and narrowness that make Gryffindor stand out. Hufflepuff students are upright and loyal, tough and honest, and unafraid of hard work. Ravenclaw students are the seekers of wisdom and knowledge, and they are the ones who speak wisely and eruditely. The students of Slytherin are resourceful, pure-blooded, and maintain the honor of pure-blood wizards. Xuan borrowed the Song of the Sorting Hat to express the characteristics of the 4 colleges. Xuan also gave a general idea, but this is a big deal for the little wizards. They all started discussing which college they would be assigned to, and which college their parents used to belong to, and they might inherit it. The other party's intelligence or bravery and kindness. Xuan, whose back was turned, didn't realize that Professor McGonagall came back when he started to explain. After all, he just went in to get a list and report to Dumbledore. How long did it take? When I first came back, I saw the Malfoy boy confronting the Weasley boy and Harry Potter all ready to come out. After all, there are still 3 of them in the Weasley family's own academy, famous as well. But later, when Xuan started to teach the young wizards science, Professor McGonagall did not show up for the time being. Instead, he looked for the child's name, which was actually very recognizable. An oriental face, but this year there is only one Donghuang person's name, Xuan Li. No, it should be Xuan. Such a young muggle-born wizard knows so much. It seems that he is indeed very smart and eager to learn. If there is no accident, this must be La Wen-Keluo's talent again. You must know that Professor Flitwick told her Xuan's name during the summer vacation. When will my own Gryffindor be able to have such a smart, sensible, and leadership student instead of a group of reckless and mindless little lions? And the appearance of Xuan also made the little wizards ignore the appearance of the legendary savior Harry Potter. How can Harry Potter have a sorting ceremony that is closely related to him, which is more attractive? As for how did Professor McGonagall know about Xuan's background? Don't forget, in addition to being the Dean of Gryffindor, she is also the Deputy Dean of Hogwarts. She basically handles the freshman affairs, so it is not surprising to know Xuan's background. All right, little wizards, line up and follow me, Professor McGonagall said to the crowd, and all the little wizards obediently lined up in 2 rows and followed Professor McGonagall. Xuan, you didn't notice Professor McGonagall's arrival at first. After all, his back was facing the auditorium, and Professor McGonagall also deliberately concealed himself. But when he turned around after talking about the sorting hat, he found the other party. This is why he only said a few words when explaining the 4 colleges later. After all, the most important task at present is the sorting ceremony, so don't waste time. More importantly, Xuan was hungry, so the earlier the sorting ended, the earlier Xuan could sit down for dinner. The door of the auditorium opened slowly, and Xuan saw that the spacious auditorium was full of people. On the 4 long tables, students from the 4 colleges sat on chairs and watched the freshmen. The freshmen are the well-deserved protagonists tonight. The high walls of the auditorium go straight to the ceiling, which is like black velvet, dotted with stars, just like the bright night sky where the stars are shining. And there are many candles floating in the midair of the auditorium, which are naturally the candles that have been cast with the floating spell, just like the ceiling that has been magically cast to resemble the night sky outside. And right in front of the auditorium is the guest seat, a long table specially used by the school's faculty and staff. Our principal Dumbledore is
Hello, everyone! As we wrap up this video, I want to share a quick note. I have a Patreon account. If you'd like to support me and enjoy on-demand audiobooks, you can become a Patreon member. Alternatively, you can check out my Google Drive link, which has 500+ novel audiobooks available through my Ko-fi or Patreon shop. I appreciate your support.